The party is already underway in Atlanta as ESPN's College Football Saturday continues with the second of 4 games today. South Carolina versus Georgia Tech. Interest in the Yellow Jackets is on the rise, and we'll have a sellout crowd to see them take on the South Carolina Gamecocks. Atlanta is recognized as the gateway to the South, but its sports franchises have been locked out of any kind of championship since 1952, when legendary coach Bobby Dodd led Georgia Tech's football team to a national title. Now the Georgia Tech campus is the focus again in Atlanta. Athletes from all over the world will make it their home during the '96 Summer Olympics. Bobby Crimmins has elevated the basketball team to a perennial title contender. And Coach Bobby Ross has Georgia Tech football undefeated in the national spotlight. Quarterback Sean Jones navigates a strong passing attack that emerged late last year and left powerful Clemson and arch-rival Georgia in the dust. Now the Ramblin' Wreck may make a run at the ACC football championship. South Carolina fans are waving the flag proudly this year, now that Coach Sparky Woods has the Gamecocks ranked among the nation's top 25. His quarterback, Bobby Fuller, and receiver Robert Brooks are producing a potent aerosol, balanced by a running back named Mike Dingle, who is busting loose for big yardage on the ground. It's a battle of 2 unbeatens on an elevator ride going up next on ESPN. This is Bobby Dodd Stadium, Grant Field in Atlanta, Georgia, where we have a sellout crowd of 46,000. They've come to see a pair of undefeated teams, the Gamecocks of South Carolina and the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mike Patrick along with Mike Gottfried, and it's great to have you with us on ESPN. Both of these teams are on the verge of joining the nation's elite. Most certainly the winner of today's game will be in the top 20 next week. And Mike, I think both of these coaches see this as a great test for their program and a measure of success as to where they are right now.
It's true, Mike. It should be a great ball game. Both coaches will get a better idea of what kind of team they have at this date. You're either a pretender or contender at this time. The winner of this game could be in the top 20.
You've also got a situation where each team has an individual on offense they feel that has to succeed for them to win today.
They do. South Carolina has a big back, 245-pound Mike Dingle. Look for him on first down. Georgia Tech must keep him from getting at least 4 yards on the first down carry. On the other side of the ball, Sean Jones, the quarterback for Georgia Tech, is an outstanding player. He's a perimeter player. He'll run the option, he'll run the bootlegs, he'll run the nakeds. How he goes will go Georgia Tech.
Here come the Gamecocks of South Carolina out of the tunnel. Under second-year coach Sparky Woods, they brought 12,000 fans with them this afternoon, and they will be rocking the place here at Bobby Dodd Stadium. And they may be waiting on Georgia Tech. A test of nerves before we even start.
Both coaches, you always would like to be the second coach out and bring your team out.
And it looks like South Carolina is just going to play the waiting game.
The reason you like to be the second guy out if you're on the road is you don't like to hear that crowd. You don't want to get that crowd into the game.
And South Carolina finally comes out of the tunnel. They are 3-0. They could go to 4-0. A great start for the program if they can win this afternoon. And here's the Ramblin' Wreck to lead out the Georgia Tech Yellow Jackets. They are 2-0 under Bobby Ross. ESPN's coverage of college football, South Carolina at Georgia Tech, is brought to you by by Thrifty Car Rental. Because it's your money, call 1-800-4CARS for your travel consultant. By Denny's. Try Denny's 10-minute guarantee and have your breakfast or lunch served in 10 minutes or it's free. Only at Denny's. And by Florsheim Comfort Tech. Total comfort or a total refund at participating retailers. Georgia Tech against South Carolina. We'll be back for the kickoff from Grant Field in Atlanta in just a moment.
On a night like this, you'll be grateful for a safety feature found in almost every Chrysler car you rent from Thrifty. A safety feature Thrifty hopes you'll never see. It's an airbag. That's right, an airbag. In about half the time it takes to blink your eye, this airbag can inflate and save your life. At Thrifty, we take safety as seriously as savings. Thrifty, because it's your money.
The Gorlick sisters on Denny's 10-minute guarantee for breakfast and lunch.
2 more holes, then lunch. What's the hurry? You said the 10-minute guarantee meant people in a hurry would get a free meal. I said people in a hurry could get a free meal. Well, I want a free meal. You only get the free meal if it's not served in 10 minutes. Oh, well then slow down. There's lots of time to get to Lenny's. Denny's.
Try Denny's no-holds-barred ironclad written in stone. We really mean it guarantee.
I like your shoes, Mr. Madden.
Yeah, I knew you'd like them. Florsheim Comfort Tech. They're guaranteed comfortable.
Guaranteed?
Yeah.
Oh, could you just sit,
Sit, stand, walk, dance in them for 30 days. If you don't love them, you get your money back. You're really walking on air. Because in Comfort Tech, there's air bubbles right in the soles. And they're made to follow the shape of your foot, even in big sizes like mine. Hey, that looks great. Thanks, Charlie. Florsheim Comfort Tech. Total comfort or a total refund?
Liberty Mutual presents The Accident That Never Happened. Because as America's largest insurer for workers' compensation, Liberty Mutual has done more to help prevent injuries on the job than any other insurance company. Caring for people is why America believes in liberty.
Great view, huh?
America believes in liberty. Liberty Mutual Insurance.
Bobby Dodd Stadium, Grant Field in Atlanta, Georgia. The series history between these two clubs started 89 years ago. And probably the most important stat on that screen, Georgia Tech 9-2 at home against South Carolina. Last year, South Carolina, right after Hurricane Hugo, beat Georgia Tech at home 21-10. Sparky Woods in his second year, 9-4-1 overall, 3-time Coach of the Year in the Southern Conference, and Bobby Ross, who won 3 ACC championships at the University of Maryland, trying to win another one here at Georgia Tech, has his club off to a great 2-0 start. And South Carolina will kick off to start the ball game. Colin Mackey will do the honors from the goal to our left, and Jason McGill, number 32, waits at the 5. Short kick taken by one of the up men at the 30, back to the 35-yard line.
Mikey fell down on the kickoff. I think he just slipped and fell down. It wasn't meant to be a short kickoff.
And now for today's Sears Die-Hard starting lineup. For the Jackets of Georgia Tech, Sean Jones, multi-dimensional quarterback. The running backs, Bell and Stephen Scott in the fullback. Good receivers, Merchant and Rodriguez, the wideout. The tight end is Tom Covington out of Hempstead, New York. Billy Chubbs is the center. The guards, Lavin and Sifri. Jenkins and Mooney are the big tackles, and this is a big offensive line.
It's good field position for Georgia Tech to start the game with.
You're not supposed to slip on that artificial turf.
No, I just think his pivot foot just went out.
Bell is the deep man in the eye. Jones with a play fake on first down. Throws over the middle. Almost intercepted. Patrick Hinton had his hands on it and couldn't hold it. And the pass underthrown by Jones. Hinton nearly had his second interception.
Mike, on the play fake here, Patrick Hinton saw that it wasn't a run. He was able to get back in coverage and get his hands on the ball. Ball should have been intercepted and would have put them in great field position. Georgia Tech got away with a mistake.
Hinton actually had 2 shots at it. So 2nd and 10. Jones on the option. This is Bell, and covered well by South Carolina. Hinton got over there very quickly along with Joe Reeves. Take a look at that South Carolina defense. Up front, Wilson and Marty Dye, the tackles. The ends are the inside linebackers, rather, Hinton and Reeves. Outside backers, Tolbert and Brown. Walker and Cedric Surratt are the corners. And the safety, Leon Harris. Third down, call it 5 for Georgia Tech. And Jones straight back in the pocket. Pretty good protection. Dumps it and throws behind his intended receiver. Tried to hit Bell coming out of the backfield. Brown on the coverage.
Not a good series for Georgia Tech, but they got away with a couple mistakes there. They'll settle down a little bit, punt the ball, and play defense.
Punter is Scott Aldridge, who's averaging over 40 yards a kick. And Carl Platt, who's coming back from an injury, is waiting at his own 16-yard line.
They may be coming after this one, Mike.
10 men on the line. Pretty good production. He got it out of there. Short end-over-end kick. And down to the 22-yard line. Only a 31-yard punt. Now the starting lineups for South Carolina. Bobby Fuller, the transfer from Appalachian State, came with his coach. He's the quarterback. The runners, Dingle and Watson is the H-back. Dingle is huge at 245. Brooks and Miller, outstanding wide receivers. Tight end is Charles Stewart out of Valdosta, Georgia. The center is Hamrick. Guards, Reevens and Killen. And on first down, they give it to Dingle, the big man, and he is piled up, got back to the line of scrimmage, and gang tackle. And the man on the bottom of the pile, Marco Coleman, number 95.
That's what Georgia Tech has to be able to do on defense, to get some kind of penetration, put linemen in the gaps, and make some big plays, Mike.
That defense unscored on this year. Second and 8. Fuller hands it off, and Dingle this time out to about the 38-yard line. Calvin Tiggle, number 58, got a piece of him and brought him down. Battle is the nose man in that 5-man front. The tackles, Rudolph and Jeremiah McClary, Jarrell Williams and Tiggle. Inside linebackers, Coleman, who is the sack specialist, and Marlon Williams, very quick on the outside. Clay and Holmes are the corners. Balcom and the All-American Swilling at safety. 3rd and 3. Fuller changes the play. Dingle again. It's close. Jarrell Williams was there first, number 45. I guess the philosophy is if you have a 245-pound running back, let him run it.
You're going to throw it right at him with a big back. But the thing that Dingle does well, Mike, here early as I watch it, he's stretching the defense, but then cutting back and find the seam. South Carolina's linemen are foot-to-foot splits. They're not splitting wide, so they have to get a surge. What Georgia Tech has to do is be able to move around in the defensive front and take gaps.
They'll measure for the first down, and all 3 plays have been running plays to Dingle, and as you can see, just inches short. And here comes the punt team for South Carolina.
It's a good series for both teams. Now they can start playing.
Parker comes on to punt, averaging 42.6 yards a kick. McGill, who took the opening kickoff, waits at his 25.
Both teams look like they're going to 10-man rush this whole day.
Pretty kick. Drives McGill all the way back to the 17-yard line. Has a seam up the middle if he can get there. One more step, it could have been another 20 yards and maybe more. A return of 13 yards for Jason McGill after a 51-yard punt. We're scoreless in Atlanta, and we'll be back in a moment.
You may not have thought about getting a Sears Die-Hard battery until you've had a little time alone to think about it. Die-Hard, more power when you need it most.
For quality, America is coming home to Dodge. John Gallo never owned an American car in his life. Frederick Wallace came back from Chevrolet.
Dodge come a long way.
One by one, America is coming home, and the quality is evident in every car and truck we build.
It just has a feel like it's going to last a long time.
Quality backed up for 7 years or 70,000 miles.
This car is reliable.
Welcome home, America. Come see what we're made of.
I realize that Dodge is a good product. I'm satisfied.
What kind of paint was that?
Watercolor.
Nothing beats a buzz. Die-Hard, America's most trusted replacement battery. Its breakthrough design gives you more power and more confidence from the start. Sears Die-Hard, more power when you need it most.
ESPN's coverage of college football, South Carolina at Georgia Tech, is brought to you by Dodge. For performance, quality, safety, and value, welcome home, America. And by Bud Light. Everything else is just alike. Mike Patrick and Mike Gottfried with you from Atlanta, Georgia, along with our entire ESPN crew. A battle of two undefeated teams, Georgia Tech and South Carolina. Both teams have had the ball once and been unable to move it. Tech's second opportunity starts from the 30. Bell is the deep man in the eye. Long signal count by Jones. He wants the option. Pitch to Bell. Beautifully executed. Held it to the last moment, made the defense commit, and pitched it. It's the way you draw it up, isn't it, Mike?
It's the way you draw it up. He went to the weak side on this particular play. A straight down the line option. Watch the fullback. He gets a key block on this play, too, Stephen Scotton. Sean Jones waited to just the right time to pitch that football. They're going to work on the Eric Brown, the freshman on the weak side over there on the South Carolina defense.
Brown starting at that outside linebacker spot because Tolbert had to go to the rover position because of an injury. 2nd and a yard, and Jones wants to throw. Dumps it to Bell. Has a blocker in front of him. Little delayed screen. Joe Reeves made the tackle. Like Woody Milam was the lineman that got out there in front.
Sean Jones just dropped back pass. This is a pass that's designated to go to the A-back, the tailback. Watch Jim Lavin come out here, 65, and make a key block right there to open it up for him. What you're trying to do is get the ball to the tailback any way you can get it to him.
Jones, they like the delays and the counters, and Bell crosses midfield into South Carolina territory. Joe Reeves again makes the stop. And this is one thing the South Carolina coaching staff was worried about, the counter motion kind of thing.
Anytime a defense runs well like South Carolina, misdirection will affect them. Reverses, counters, a little delayed trap like that particular play right there, because they're so active and they're so running to the football, counters will hurt them.
Bell, 3 carries for 19 yards. That was a gain of 4 at 2nd and 6. Scotton, who takes the pitch, only got a couple that time.
On the carry for Georgia Tech.
And coming in from the end, Corey Miller, who was the outstanding defensive player for the South Carolina unit. 250-pound senior, very quick. And Scotton, an excellent student, picked up a couple that time. It'll be 3rd and 4. Bobby Ross says Scotton is his unrecognized hero. He just does everything well, has a great work ethic. Four-man rush. Jones pressured, throws low, but Pettis may have grabbed it. Let's see, incomplete.
Well, here's where you have the first problem with a split crew. You got a split crew of Southern Independent officials and Atlantic Coast officials. One official came from the side and said it was a catch, where the umpire from the Southern Independent said no catch.
And you believe the umpire is the key man in that crew?
He's the key man on the crew because of the holding call. Here we see the pass. I'm not sure from our angle whether it was a catch or not, but both of them disagreed on it.
Aldridge will have to punt it away on 4th and 4. Platt and Brooks, a double safety, and they'll make the fair catch at the 11-yard line. Let's go back to the studio for an update on scores. Tim Brando.
Thank you, Mike. We're going to take you to Columbus, Ohio, and watch USC and Ricky Irvin taking the pitch from Robo quarterback Marinovich. It's a 15-yard touchdown run on the ensuing kickoff, an ugly incident along the sideline. Suffice it to say, Larry Smith's club a little ticked after what happened against Washington. Let's get back to Atlanta and Mike and Mike.
Well, Mike and Mike. We got a lot of them here today. South Carolina takes over its own 11-yard line, and the battle of field position so far, Georgia Tech has won that. Dingle, big man tries to turn the corner, gets it out near the 15-yard line. We're talking about the officials just a moment ago, and it is a split crew because one team in Independent, for a while at least, they have joined the Southeastern Conference, the other ACC. So you have 5 officials from the ACC, 3 from the Southern Independent. And why is the umpire, because of the holding calls? Do you think that's the key?
He's the key, but it's difficult, both crews working together just for the first time. They're going to make some mistakes.
Most people do not like split crew. Dingle again. This time across the 20 to the 21-yard line. May have the first down. Jeremiah McClary, the 274-pound senior tackle, made the stop. Well, it has been all Mike Dingle. 5 offensive plays, and Dingle has carried every time. He's carried for 20 yards.
When you run a tailback counter play like this, again, against a team that's moving as much as Georgia Tech, you get great angle blocks on it. People are coming down, blocking and sealing. It's a good play when you're against a team that runs well on defense like Tech.
Well, McClary was really blown off the ball that time. Fuller, quick throw, complete to Miller. Swilling to beat, and Swilling made the tackle and saved the touchdown. Eddie Miller, the fastest man on the team, gains 37 yards.
Bobby Fuller's just running a quick pass here. Willie Clay, the defensive back, just underplayed it right here. And once you underplay a ball like that, you're in trouble. Luckily, Ken Swilling, the safety, has great speed and can catch him.
Boy, Miller is a track guy, the fastest man on the team. He looks so much faster than Swilling, but Swilling caught him. Fuller to throw again. Good protection. Floats it over the middle. Swilling intercepted it for 3. It was intended for Brooks, but that ball hung up there an awful long time, and Swilling has his 2nd interception of the year.
Remember one thing, great players find a way to make great plays. He stopped the run on the sideline because of his speed. He came back the next play and made the interception. Bobby Fuller's got him open. He just hangs it up just a little bit too long. Swilling is in excellent position. He eyes the football. He's in a position intercepted. He got it at its highest point. Here's a second look right here. He just brings it in. And again, a big play on defense for Georgia Tech.
They're worried he might leave early. A junior this year will certainly be one of the top picks in the draft defensively. Georgia Tech starts from the 3. Bell trying to get some breathing room. Pounds out near the 7-yard line.
I hope he stays in school, Mike. I really do. I feel like that's something, I think it's important that he stays in school. He's an excellent student, and he'll just get a year better and mentally and physically be better when he gets to the pros.
Don't you think a lot of guys may have learned a lesson from this year, the people that got hurt by it?
I don't think so. I think they look at the Jeff Georges and really don't see the other guys. They see what they make as the first-round draft pick. Don't see the guys that don't make it.
2nd and 6. Scotton near the 10. And Georgia Tech just trying not to make a mistake down here. That is the 8th interception for Georgia Tech They are the #2 pass defense team in the country and #8 overall.
Excellent defensive team on that last play. South Carolina looks like they're trying to take gaps on the Georgia Tech offensive line right now.
Bobby Rodriguez, the single wideout. He comes to the near side. 3rd and 2. Jones on the option. They have it well defensed. Outstanding defensive play that time by Ernest Dixon in at middle linebacker, and there was no place for Sean Jones to go.
Well, you run an 8-man front on defense like South Carolina does. They really are pretty good shape against the option. Here's the fake to the fullback, who then will become a blocker on the linebacker. But there's just no place. They defended that well on the outside. I think Georgia Tech's come back with counters and draws and little delay passes.
Aldridge will have to punt out of his end zone, and Carl Platt is waiting on the Georgia Tech side of the 50. 10-man front. Better kick by Aldridge this time. Platt at his 45. And look at all the blue shirts. Still got back to the Georgia Tech 42-yard line. A 45-yard punt. A return of 13. We're still scoreless. First quarter in Atlanta.
All across America, hundreds of thousands of people are coming home to Dodge.
Yeah, it's my first Dodge. I took a chance, and so far, the car's been great.
It's beautiful, it's sexy, it's fast.
One by one, they're coming home.
The Dodge is going to be a safe car.
They're coming home for quality, safety, performance, and value.
The Dodge had the kind of quality. They've made improvements.
Welcome home, America. Come see what we're made of.
First car, first love was a Dodge, so went back to it.
Heard from an old student. Remember Brian McKenna? Smart kid.
Good ball player. Great hands.
Where's he going to college? He's not.
Too bad.
Studying aviation electronics.
But you said...
In the Navy. Then college.
The Navy College Fund and Montgomery GI Bill. Over $25,000 for your college education.
You and the Navy.
Like I said, smart kid.
Full speed ahead.
Good times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never lets you down.
Tim Brando back in our college football studio. Let's update you now on Notre Dame, the #1 Fighting Irish against Purdue today. The game is over. In the storyline, Rocket Ismail. Before today, from the line of scrimmage, he had touched the ball 9 times. That's all. Today, 5 carries, 82 yards. This is one of them for a touchdown, 1 reception for 7 yards. The 13th straight win over a Big Ten foe for Notre Dame. Back to Mike Patrick in Atlanta.
6 minutes, 49 seconds to go. First quarter of play. South Carolina and Georgia Tech undefeated and scoreless. South Carolina with great field position starting from the Georgia Tech 42. Dingle. Not much room. Coleman Rudolph, number 92, whose dad Jackie was a star at Georgia Tech, makes the tackle. Dingle now 6 carries, 22 yards. South Carolina's philosophy on offense is they take what the defense gives you. The defense hasn't given them much. They gave them that 1 pass play.
No, they really haven't, Mike, right now. Look for some kind of counter or reverse in this series.
2nd and 8. Dingle, he's got the speed to get outside, and Swilling comes up at 240 and bangs out of bounds the 245-pound running back.
Tight splits by South Carolina. Mike Dingle receives the ball here. The strong safety was coming on the play to the field. That's why the outside lane was open, but a great recovery by the backers in Swilling.
Boy, Swilling can play, can't he?
All over the field.
Holy cow. He is Pat Swilling's cousin, who was such a great linebacker here. 3rd and 3. Fuller trying to run for it. He's got the first down, dumped at the 30. Nice tackle by Tegel, but he could not keep him from getting the first down.
So one thing Bobby Fuller hasn't shown in the early games, mobility to get away from a rush. He did a nice job on that. The rush came up the field and provided some lanes for him. They've got excellent field position right here. Georgia Tech defense is going to again have to make something happen.
Coming into the game, Fuller had been sacked 12 times, but had only thrown 1 interception. He hasn't been sacked today, but he did throw the INT. 4-man rush. Picked off. Intercepted by Thomas Balcom. The second interception by the Georgia Tech defense, and boy, they look tough.
Well, it's that turnover ratio that they're leading the nation in takeaways. They're forcing the offensive other teams to give them the ball back, either interceptions or fumbles. An outstanding play again by the Georgia Tech defense. Bobby Fuller's throwing the crossing route right here, and he just threw it right in the hands of Thomas Balcom, the strong safety. Second look right here. Look at Thomas Balcom just sitting in there waiting for the curl route. Good interception.
So Georgia Tech trying to take advantage of a turnover here. Jones back to throw on first down. Throws complete up to the 35-yard line to Rodriguez. Antonio Walker made the stop. After a turnover, a lot of coaches like to call the pass plays.
You like to have something happen in a positive nature. They're stopping Georgia Tech's running game right now. That particular play will be open against an 8-man front team because you have one-on-one coverage on the outside because they're playing so many people in on the run.
Both wide receivers come to the near side. They run out of split backs this time. Little misdirection. Bell. Got about 4, maybe 5 out of it. Reeves and Miller made the tackle for South Carolina. This is a different defensive scheme than people were used to seeing under Joe Morrison because they really came after people. There's the turnover margin that you were talking about. #1 in the nation, #2 in pass defense, 8th in total defense, and scoring defense they're 10th. Those aren't bad stats.
Oh, those are great.
And they're sure playing like it today. 2nd and 6. A new tailback into the game, T.J. Edwards, brought down by Hinton. Edwards had been hurt, missed most of the first 2 games with a hamstring. May have been the starter if he had been healthy.
In this third down situation, Mike, I look for Sean Jones now, either a quarterback draw, some kind of rollout where you keep the ball in his hands.
3rd and 4. Jones has hit 2 out of 5 passes for 24 yards. And there it is. Little roll, dumps it off, drop. Had his tight end, Derek Gaucher, who caught a touchdown pass a week ago. But he dropped that one. The fans who didn't have a good angle on it didn't like the call, but it was obvious that he did let it loose.
After running a few counters earlier, Sean Jones faking the counters, hit tight end wide open right coming across here. Derek Gaucher just didn't make the catch. Ball's thrown a little low, but he still has to make that catch. One thing I like is Sean Jones is getting in the rhythm. He's having some success, even though his team isn't moving the ball. He's close.
Aldridge will punt again. 3:50 to go first quarter. The offense has not been able to do anything with the ball. Again, a 10-man front. Hangs it up. Platt, fair catch, 24. So South Carolina once again will start deep in its own territory after a 34-yard punt. We're still scoreless in Atlanta.
Our employees know it. Ford Motor Company knows it. And our customers know it better than anyone.
Al Rosso wants to put you in a Ford. Al Rosso gives you super deals and more.
More cars and trucks.
More low prices.
And more personal attention when you buy your next car from us.
And when Ford Motor Company surveyed our customers about our service department, 98% said they were completely satisfied.
And we've got 6 Distinguished Achievement Awards to show for it.
He's got the shape you want to be in. Al Russell Ford Mercury. Drive in today. You'll be glad you did.
Don't choose between price and service.
Get them both at El Rosso Ford Mercury.
El Rosso Ford Mercury.
40 Mickey Road in Shelby.
There's a lot of great action throughout the year on ESPN. To keep up with what's on, look for ESPN Sports Week each week in Sports Illustrated. Sports Week, a concise schedule of ESPN's major sporting events, Sports Center, plus special features. Look for ESPN Sports Week every week in Sports Illustrated.
South Carolina and Georgia Tech scoreless with 3:43 to go, first quarter of play. In a defensive battle. Later on, we have some outstanding football coming your way. Number 5 Tennessee at number 3 Auburn, Jordan-Hare Stadium. That's a 7:30 start. Should be one of the best games of the year. Traditional rivals. And then UCLA and Washington State will go at it tonight in a Pac-10 contest that starts at 11 o'clock Eastern time. So far, you would have to say that the physical advantages belong to Georgia Tech, but they haven't been able to translate that into points on the board. 2 interceptions for the Tech defense. Fuller, a little play fake. Completes the pass across the 40 to the 45. Ken Watson, the H-back. He's in there because George Rush, the starter, is injured. It's a gain of 25.
They went without Mike Dingle in there also. They faked a counter, and then just the same pass that Georgia Tech ran, they completed to Ken Watson.
The numbers on Fuller, they've got Albert Haynes in there as the tailback. Haynes, quite unlike Dingle, 5'9", 197 pounds. Fuller, here comes the blitz. Unloads, complete to Platt. Platt taken out of bounds by Clay as he got to the Georgia Tech 47-yard line. Let's go back to the studio for a baseball update. Tim?
That's right, Mike. In the National League East, the magic number for Pittsburgh could be reduced to 1. The reason Les Lancaster gets the win over New York today, 3-2 the final score at Shea Stadium. And then Pittsburgh right now in the 9th inning, they are leading 8-0 right now. Bob Walk in the midst of a 4-hitter. Now, if in fact that score holds up, the magic number will be 1 for Pittsburgh. Back to Mike.
Thank you, Tim. 2nd and 3. Haynes cuts it outside. Nice defensive effort on the corner by Jarrell Williams, the number 1 tackler on this team. Fought off a block and got enough of Albert Haynes to bring him down.
Big play there because he was headed for a first down. South Carolina's moving into a different type game plan right now with Dingo off the field. Albert Haynes coming in. It's more of a pass, try to get outside type of game plan right now.
Williams is 6 feet 223. Bobby Ross said he's a little lumpy looking. Bobby better change that. 3rd and a yard. Haynes trying to go outside, and Clay comes up from the corner to knock him down. Now he's their best cover guy, and he comes up and plays great run support.
He saw a run right away. I wonder if something happened to Mike Dingle early, because in the 3rd and 2, that's the kind of back you'd like to have in there. What Albert Haynes did was try to go too wide here. You'll see it's just the same stretch play the Cincinnati Bengals made. He tried to take it too wide, took it right to Willie Clay and stopped him from getting the first down. This 3 times now South Carolina's had a shot at going down, getting some points.
They'll have to punt on 4th and 4. And Clay, a different deep man, is back there. He's waiting at the 10-yard line. Parker just hangs this one up and hopes to get the good bounce, and doesn't. See where they mark it at the 23-yard line. So Georgia Tech's defense has done the job again. A punt this time of 26 yards. And the partisan crowd here in Atlanta would like to see the offense return the favor.
Been a defensive struggle so far, but somebody's going to break something.
These things go in cycles. These are the teams that have been hot in the last 10 games. And look at Georgia Tech, the only unranked team team that did not go to a bowl game last year because they got off to such a bad start.
Pass too high, picked off. Intercepted by Surratt. He is their best cover guy, but that pass was overthrown by Sean Jones. So the turnover for South Carolina's defense. Well, Sean Jones just overthrows the curl. He's got the curl route and he's got the tailback in the flat. He just overthrew it. It's a good interception here. Sean knew he made a mistake. Put that defense back on the field now. You're only going to get so many chances now down here, South Carolina. And Georgia Tech defense has responded every time. They start at the Georgia Tech 42. Dingle is back in there at tailback. He comes out of the backfield, takes the pass. Well, it's tough when he gets loose in the secondary at 245. Eric Fry gets his first tackle. Just a little delay route, and he's a safety valve on that Dingle. There's Surratt, who made the interception. Saying Sean Moore a little bit ago and Sean Jones are both excellent quarterbacks. The ACC has some excellent quarterbacks this year, Mike. Sure do. Bobby Ross very high on his quarterback. For Sparky Woods had Bobby Fuller follow him from Appalachian State. They give it to the H-back Watson. He just grinds forward. Fry makes the tackle again, very close to the first down sticks at the 32. I think South Carolina right now is thinking, we've been down there a couple of times. We threw the ball. We made some mistakes. Let's pound it at them and see if we can get ourselves on the board. Whether it's by a touchdown or field goal, we need to score this time down. So I look for them to keep it on the ground on this series. South Carolina, or excuse me, Georgia Tech had a lot of second-team people in there on defense. Now they may have too many or too few guys on defense. Very confused, and they use a timeout with 9 seconds to go in the first quarter. That's one of the problems, Mike, with all the situation substitution anymore. Sometimes you really don't know how many guys you got on the field or who is out there. Sometimes you get caught in a situation like South Carolina came out in a power I backfield. I'm sure Georgia Tech wants a defense where they can get some people up the football field. And so they may try to go to a short yardage or goal line defense. Baseball coming up for you tomorrow, 1 o'clock Eastern. That huge series between Toronto and Boston from Fenway. If you don't see that ball game, you will see Philadelphia at Montreal. It's a different start time. Philadelphia-Montreal games at 1:30. Toronto and Boston at 1 o'clock. And then tomorrow night on ESPN, we'll have the Tyson Holly Farms 400 from Wilkesboro, North Carolina. That is a tape delay at 8 o'clock Eastern. The Winston Cup Series of NASCAR continues on ESPN. This is third and less than a yard. And it looked like it was time for the rotation. Georgia Tech had a lot of second-team people in there, but you don't want your second-team defense on the field when they reach the 32. Not here. I think what you're going to see here, South Carolina either try to go up over the top to try to get the first down. They're going to get the ball to Dingle behind those two lead blockers. They've converted only 1 of 3 third-down situations. Dingle, the deep man in the eye. He's got it and has the first down at the 30. Boy, Dingle came sailing over the top, and really just for a sake of a picture, it was a shame that Dingle didn't go over the top. That would have been quite a shot. Well, yeah, you have that type of back right here. Here's the two lead blockers. Good block right here. Good lead block on Jeremiah McClary. I look again, like I say, Mike, this is going to be a run. They're running the ball from here on in for a while. That's the end of the first quarter at Bobby Dodd Stadium, Grant Field in Atlanta, Georgia, on campus at Georgia Tech, and we are scoreless. Back in a moment.
Every evening, we pack over 700,000 passengers onto our planes. No drinks are served, no meals are prepared, yet our customers love our service, like our UPS Next Day Air Letter. Guaranteed overnight delivery to any address coast to coast, and at just $9, far less than other companies charge. No one seems to mind that there's no in-flight movie.
Daddy, I want my Jenny beer.
I want my soda.
Grandma, isn't this fun? Oh.
I want my soda.
Why do people want a Serta? The answer is the exclusive Serta Surface. It tops firm support with layers of thick, luxurious comfort. It'll spoil you for sleeping any other way. So get a Serta Perfect Sleeper.
I want my Serta.
For me, it's the perfect truck.
Jim Ortballs had a Ford Ranger.
It will handle a load. It will get up and move.
Brian Thompson came home from Toyota.
I like the Dodge Dakota the best. It just makes me feel good to drive it.
The mid-sized Dakota, now available with V8 power.
There's no substitute for cubic inches.
For less money than a 4-liter V6 Ford Ranger.
America, it's about time you gave me something that I needed.
It's a good, sound truck.
Welcome home, America. Come see what we're made of.
I bought the Dodge. Just feels like quality.
A little brains, a little luck, and a lot of late nights. A good family, a good spot, and some good advice. That's the way it's supposed to be. And USF&G is standing behind me. That's the way it's supposed to be. And USF&G is standing behind me.
When the party of the first part achieves control of 51.
Nation caused productivity to rise an estimated 50.
The manufacturing division is currently operating at full.
A successful reallocation of resources has had a decided.
Occasionally, mergers produce results that individuals would find impossible to produce on their own. State-of-the-art software and service worthy of it.
Set to start the second quarter in Atlanta, Georgia. Mike Patrick and Mike Gottfried, along with our entire ESPN crew. It's been a defensive struggle so far. Neither team able to move the ball very far. But South Carolina with the 1st and 10 at the Georgia Tech 30. Dingle, the single setback. And he'll get the carry on the Delight. Couldn't keep his balance, goes down at the line of scrimmage. Let's go back to the studio, and Tim Brando, we have an update for you.
The Buckeyes are trying to come back at home, Mike. Take a look at Greg Fry at quarterback. Play action quickly, and he looks for and finds his man, Bobby Olive. That's a touchdown to make it 14-10, but a critical note in this game. USC running the ball effectively. They didn't last week against Washington. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Timmy. 2nd and 10 from the 30. Georgia Tech showing blitz, and here they come. Fuller sacked at the 40. And the man that got credit, Jarrell Williams, but he had some help. They don't like to blitz, but they're very effective at it.
They really are. The thing that South Carolina wants to do on 1st down is get a 3 or 4 yard gain so that they don't get in these kind of situations. Here Georgia Tech blitzes with Jarrell Williams coming right through untouched. Not a lot of mobility by Bobby Fuller. He didn't try to throw it away, just took the sack. Now they're moved out of field goal range. Now you got to try to get back in field goal range.
3rd and 20. Three-man rush this time. They want to screen. Throw it to Brooks, the wide receiver. And Brooks belted down by Curly Day. Oh, they got some guys who can hit back there.
I'll tell you, the defense has really responded. The key play was the 2nd down play. Bobby Fuller has to throw that ball away. You can't take a sack and take yourself out of field goal position.
Curly Day coming off an injury, wasn't expected to play a whole lot today, but he looked fine on that one. And on 4th and 15, they will kick it away.
If you're Bobby Rouse right now, Mike, you got to feel happy. I mean, your defense has responded every time.
Parker to punt. Marcus Coleman, a defensive back, waits at the 10, but nobody expects to get it.
I think they're going to take a delay to get a 5-yard penalty here so that they have a little more room to try to pooch it inside the 10-yard line.
And that's exactly what they'll do, moving it back past the 40. Does Georgia Tech turn it down?
Well, they can.
Yep, they do. And if you're wondering, no, they can't do it again.
Little chess match here. Now he has to try to pooch it. And the thing you don't want is the ball in the end zone. You want to try to keep it inside the 20.
been a game of field position so far. Parker straight up. Nice kick. Fair catch signal made at the 11-yard line. Parker does his job, and Georgia Tech will start deep in its own territory when we come back.
We're here on Easter Island to introduce the monumental new Isuzu Stylus. How does it compare to the Toyota Camry? Let's see what the gods think. The Stylus, with its Lotus-tuned suspension, handles better and is just as roomy. Yet the Toyota costs hundreds more. The gods aren't too crazy about that. The new Isuzu Stylus at just $11,299. There's no comparison.
Here's something for all you truck drivers to think about. There's an oil made special for trucks. An oil with the Shell brand. Oil that protects engines when they rev their highest and work their hardest. Think any oil will take care of your truck? Think again. Truck Guard from Shell.
To protect the lives of firefighters, DuPont developed a remarkable fire-resistant fiber for their clothing called Nomex. But perhaps even more remarkable is how it protects those who never even wear it. At DuPont, we make the things that make a difference.
ESPN's coverage of college football, South Carolina at Georgia Tech, is brought to you by Isuzu. For features, styling, and price, there's no comparison. And by ITT Hartford. When you need us most, we're at our best. We have talked about the Georgia Tech defense because they came in here so highly ranked, but the South Carolina defense has done its own sensational job.
They have both played consistently. South Carolina with the 8-man front causes you a lot of problems.
Bell returns as the tailback in the eye. And we have movement.
South Carolina was disguised in a blitz. I'm not so sure somebody didn't move on the offensive line from Georgia Tech because they saw a blitz coming.
Joe Sifrey, the right guard, fell forward out of his three-point stance.
Dead ball, illegal procedure, and your lineman moving. First down.
First penalty of the ball game called by C.C. Daly.
What happened on that, Mike, was South Carolina put both backers in the gap and showed a disguised a blitz, and maybe an offensive lineman just got a little anxious there. Field position has been terrible for Georgia Tech. Right here.
See the guard move. The right guard. That's only the fourth penalty they have had this season. Well, you get smart kids at Georgia Tech. There's no way around that. Quarterback draw. And he gets a call you've been waiting for too, Mike.
Anytime you have a mobile quarterback, and those are the ones that are most successful right now in college football because the hash marks. Here you see Sean Jones go back, set up, and then follow William Bell, who gets a good block, and you've got linemen on linebackers right away. Very good call by Bobby Ross.
Already the number 7 all-time passer in the history of Georgia Tech, only a sophomore. Toss to Bell. Trying to cut it back, only gets a couple out of it. Let's go back to the studio on another score update. Tim Brando.
Mike, it could all be over for New York by the time they get to Pittsburgh on Monday. The Bucks have beaten St. Louis 8-0. Bob Walker, 4-hitter. Bonilla and Bachman with RBI singles. Sid Bream had a solo homer, his 14th. So it's 8-0 Pittsburgh, clinching a tie for the National League Eastern Division crown. Let's get back to Atlanta.
Thank you, Tim. Congratulations to the Bucks. They've had a great year. Third down and a yard. Scott leans forward with second effort to get the first down. Reeves got there along with Walker, but too late.
great extra effort right there by Stephen Scott. Both defenses are playing like boxers. They're getting the initial push and punch on the offensive line. South Carolina's in very good shape right here to stop this play. Scott just makes great effort to get the first down.
1st and 10, Georgia Tech, 10:48 to go in the first half, no score. Option, Bell. Nice cut after he got the toss. Bell may have another first down out at the 34-yard line. Patrick Hinton ran him out of there. Great reaction by William Bell.
That's one of those plays where if you're on the coaching sideline of South Carolina, you couldn't have a better defense. They had the strong safety coming, Mike Tolbert. He just ran by the running back. He's supposed to make that play. Covington with a good block right here in linebacker. Look at, well, you can't see the strong safety Tolbert up there, but just an outstanding run by William Bell. First down would be a nice passing down right now for Georgia Tech.
Instead, they give to Scotton straight up the middle. He got another 9 out to the 44-yard line. You know, talking about Bell, Surratt made the tackle. Bell was really complimentary of Bobby Ross. He fumbled 2 of the first 3 times he handled the ball this year, and said a lot of guys would have taken him out. Most coaches just hate fumbles, but he stuck with Bell, and he's really produced for him.
Well, sometimes patience is a virtue in coaching, and it's paid off for Bobby, and it has paid off for William Bell.
2nd and 1 as Georgia Tech has the ground game going all of a sudden. Bell on the toss. First down to the 49-yard line. Boy, Scotton threw a heck of a block in front of him.
He did a nice job on the corner. He kept his feet and he exploded into Eric Brown, number 48, the outside backer.
And Brown is still down.
That will be a problem for South Carolina because they're a little thin there anyway. And that's the player that Georgia Tech felt like they needed to find a little bit about and try to challenge him early because he's only a freshman. Here's the toss sweep. Watch the fullback, Stephen Scotton, just with a nice block, nice explosion, and caused that first down.
We have a timeout on the field with 9:53 to go in the first half. Georgia Tech nothing, USC nothing.
Rudy's Air Conditioning.
From her coastlines, across her rivers, to her highest altitudes, dependable Ruud heat pumps keep America cool. With a proven record for high efficiency, nothing beats a Ruud.
To introduce Isuzu's new Rodeo, we've placed it and Toyota's 4Runner in this campground to see which is better for family fun.
Sure, the Rodeo has more horsepower and rear anti-locking brakes, but another key difference is that only the Rodeo seats 6.
So, combined with its price, thousands less than 4Runner, we see that only in a Rodeo, no one gets stung.
The new Isuzu Rodeo, at just $12,499, there's no comparison.
Okay. But just suppose another tornado rips up our Meadville plant. Then what? Or suppose we have a string of accidents, like we did in '86. Suppose I get sick again. Would another insurance company come through like the people from the Hartford? I doubt it. And after 14 years, this fella is not about to find out.
ITT Hartford. When you need us most, we're at our best.
South Carolina and Georgia Tech still scoreless with 9:53 to go in the first half. Today's Hartford student of the game is Georgia Tech fullback Stephen Scotton. He has a 3.5 grade point average in electrical engineering, which is probably the most difficult major here at Georgia Tech. Excellence on the field and in the classroom. And Bobby Ross says he has the best work habits of anybody he's been around. He was a terrible receiver, and he worked all summer to become better. There's the new linebacker, Dickie DeMasi, a quarterback for 3 years on this ball club. That's how thin they are at that linebacker spot. 1st and 10, Georgia Tech. Bell. Nice cut to get outside, ran right by DeMasi, who got in on the tackle at the 45-yard line. And Mike, coaches are so good at adjusting during the ball game. Obviously, Georgia Tech has found something to get the running game going.
They're working the weak side a little bit more. Here you got Dickie DeMasi right here, quarterback. You might as well draw a bullseye on his jersey there with number 13 as a linebacker. They know he's a quarterback, and they know they're going to find him.
There's Brown, still a little bit shaken after taking a wicked block. Nice fake. And a complete pass, first down. Loose ball, and they're saying it's incomplete. Rice dropped it. The freshman couldn't hold it. Leon Harris made the hit on him. Nice play fake by Sean Jones, and then the good pass on top of it. And Mooney is down there arguing. And now they say it is complete. There's the split crew again, Mike.
Well, that's why you can't have a split crew. They're eventually going to go away from that. This is a counter action by Sean Jones, and he throws to the freshman, Anthony Rice, number 7. Both tight ends have funny numbers, too, 17 and 7. But it's a good reception, and again, the referees have a conference. That's the worst thing that you see, indecision in official.
But it obviously looked like it was a good catch. First and 10, Yellow Jackets, the most impressive drive so far for either club. Bell, that little counter action. Mooney out in front looking for someone to run over, and Bell is down to the 25-yard line. Mike Tolbert makes the tackle, another gain of 11. And Taco is off and running.
The reason the counter is working so well is South Carolina's linebackers run so well. Watch them. They take the little fake. Now they're out of position, and the blocks are now at an angle. So they get sealed, and that's what opens it up for William Bell.
Bell has gained 58 yards on 9 carries. Georgia Tech as a team approaching the 100-yard mark.
That's Mike Mooney, the 360-pound, 16-pound junior, leading the play.
Edwards, the new tailback, to the 15, to the 13. A flag is down on the play. Edwards, who may have more raw talent than any of the other tailbacks, has a first down, but we will check the flag for you. And they'll bring it back on a hold against the Jackets.
Critical mistake sometimes when you have a long drive in college football. This one began on the 12-yard line. The defense is saying, I'll give you some things, but you're going to make some mistakes between now and the time you get down.
Offensive team, penalties from the spot of the foul. We have first down.
Well, that's one break, Mike. It's not from where the ball was snapped at, so you don't have quite as far to go on first down.
Move it back to the 30, so it will be first and about 14.
Be a good trick play down where you try to get some kind of misdirection in right here. Try to get the ball to Bobby Rodriguez, who's got good speed out here.
Edwards, the single setback. Quarterback draw. Jones, nowhere to go. Manufactured a couple of yards out of it. Patrick Hinton in on the stop. Let's go back to the studio and a score update.
Well, you remember, Mike, I was telling you Ricky Irvins was running well for USC, and he didn't last week. Well, this is his second touchdown of the half against Ohio State. He has 164 total yards on the ground against the Buckeyes, and it's halftime at the old Horseshoe on the banks of the old Intenji. Let's get back to Mike.
All right, Tiff, thank you. Second and 13, Georgia Tech. It is a scoreless game with nearly 7 minutes left, second quarter. Four-man rush, Jones with time. Merchant to the 20. About 4 yards shy of a first down. Cedric Surratt made the tackle. But if nothing else, by not going deep, they have themselves in field goal position.
Well, one thing Bobby Ross knows, you want to draw blood first in this ball game, and this is going to be a play right here where it's going to be a safe throw. I look for the counter and try to bring Covington across the middle. The play that they dropped just a little bit ago. Play action pass right here, getting the ball to Covington. If it's not there, you get a field goal.
12th play of the drive coming up. Edwards on the toss. Look at that hole. Edwards to the 7-yard line. And he flattened Surratt on the tackle. A gain of 12. Leon Harris hit him first. Surratt came up to help and paid for it.
Here's what happened on this place. Georgia Tech brought both receivers over to one side and created that hole by moving the strong safety, Mike Tolbert, outside. It's a pitch all the way, and they get an extra blocker by going with an unbalanced line.
1st and goal, Georgia Tech. And now South Carolina has used a timeout with 6:02 to go in a scoreless first half. We'll be back with more from Atlanta in a moment.
Our personal insurance specialists offer you the reliable, dependable services that have built our agency into one of the area's largest. Now that's a reputation. Roby, Krause, Eric Insurance.
In Mansfield, see these Napa Auto Care Centers. Dave Lynn at Lynn Sunoco, Jim Peterson at Fun Center Towing and Repair, Mike Hollingsworth and Luke Lomax at Hollingsworth Tire, Tim Offmus at Tim's Automotive Specialties.
Protecting assets, both people and property, with total service insurance programs. Roby, Krause, Eric Insurance.
Sunday afternoon, the pennant chase continues with the head-to-head battle for the AL East crown. The high-flying Blue Jays meet the Red Sox, or the Expos face the Phillies. Sunday afternoon, live on ESPN. The embarrassing miscues, the performances at peak, the unusual antics, the plays of the week. Each Sunday night at 11 Eastern on ESPN Sports Center.
Georgia Tech trying to break a scoreless tie. This drive started at its own 12-yard line. They're now down to the 8 of South Carolina. As a coach, what did you want in this kind of situation? How did you feel 7, 8, 9-yard line?
When I had the ball inside the 10 up until about the 7, that's a nice play-action passing down because ground is going to be tough to get on the run right here. This would be an excellent time to throw the football. They're having success running the ball right now.
One wide receiver to the far side. Edwards, the tailback. He'll get the carry. And down to about the 7-yard line. Marty Dye, first man to him. Patrick Hinton helped out. Bobby Ross on the sideline. I don't think anybody who ever saw Bobby Ross coach at Maryland or knew him there felt that he wouldn't be successful here. Everybody believed he would eventually, and he has done it. Some guys, just like Mike Gottfried, wherever they go, they win. They find a way. 2nd and 7, Jones.
Covington
throws it up for grabs, knocked away. Should have been intercepted by Reeves, but his own man came across and knocked it loose. Reeves had a bead on it. Dixon was putting the pressure on the quarterback.
Covington was open early. The ball had to be thrown before this. I'm not so sure this ball wasn't intercepted. It looked like this guy comes and gets it just very close. Very close. Sean Jones just was a little late throwing the football and then put it up for grabs. Didn't get enough on it.
Antonio Walker, did he catch it? No, the point of the ball hit the ground.
Now the important thing is make sure you come away with some points here. Try to get the touchdown. It's a
quarterback draw. Down to the 1, and here we go with decision time. Eric Brown made the stop. I'll tell you what's amazing is the players, the first indication, the ball goes down at the 1, and they hold their hands up about a foot apart. They're lying to their coach because they want to go for it.
Well, they do want to go for it, and they are going for it. Bobby Ross has made a decision. There's no thinking about it. They're going to go for it. Real test for South Carolina's defense here.
Bell has checked in at tailback. 4:42 and counting in the half.
They will go behind Martin, number 80.
And now Georgia Tech would like to talk about it. And they'll use their second timeout of the half. Timeout on the field, 4:38 to go. 0-0, Georgia Tech and South Carolina.
At Compaq, before we build our desktop personal computers, we look at you. We look at what you do and the power and performance you need to get it done. Since introducing the world's first high-performance 386 PC, Compaq has never stopped, giving you more power, more speed, and the best of the latest technology. To do, well, that's up to you. Compaq. It simply works better.
That's okay. I don't have a leisure suit.
Listen, honey, if I can't pronounce it, I don't eat it.
That's great.
We don't have it because you don't want it. At Days, what we do have are great rooms, great value, at over 1,000 great locations. And that's the honest truth.
The good, the bad, the bumpy. Whatever the road, a Michelin is built to give you all the miles we're famous for. Ride 'em, cowboy.
Georgia Tech in a scoreless tie, 4th and goal from the 1. They had a chance to talk it over. If you're coaching, what do you call?
I think it's a good decision to go for it. This is the one where the crowd says go, 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 and then if you don't make it, they boo. I think they'll follow 80. I think they're gonna run the football and try to follow Jay Martin as a lead blocker.
16th play of this drive. Martin is on the right wing. Bell is the tailback. Scotton the fullback. Option. A waltz into the end zone for Sean Jones.
They thought the same thing I did. They followed Martin and left the weak side all alone. He was going to run the option the whole way. Excellent call. Went to the outside, stayed away from the inside penetration.
3 guys went outside. Any 3 of them could have scored.
All 3. What happened is South Carolina completely pinched inside and slanted toward Martin. Watch the defensive linemen all working inside. There's nobody outside.
It looks like a jailbreak. Scott Sisson will go for the point after. It is his 39th straight point after touchdown. And Georgia Tech, after a tremendous defensive struggle, has gotten on the board for 7-0.
James Martin went in motion to the backside, which moved the linebackers that way. They countered what they've done the last couple weeks, which was very important. They knew what South Carolina had seen on the films, and they came right away from it.
A drive of nearly 8 minutes. Pat pays off with the touchdown. Let's go back to the studio and Tim Brando. Tim?
All right, Mike. Last year, BYU and Oregon put 96 points on the board. Now, Ty Detmer driving his team down for the potential go-ahead score, and it's intercepted by Steve Kemp. It is 12-7 at halftime. The score itself is news. Back to Atlanta.
That's a great thing about college football. You never know, do you?
Well, it's up and down, and on that sidelines, your stomach's up and down with it. One thing about South Carolina, I think their coaches are concerned about getting behind and how they're going to handle adversity. As a coach, you've got to be able to handle prosperity when you're winning and adversity when you're behind. How they handle this first drive and missed opportunities will be important in this next series.
Georgia Tech leading 7-0 with 4:34 to go in the half. Eddie Miller, the deep man, and it's a high, short kick. Taken by one of the up men and fumbled.
Georgia Tech.
Looks like Georgia Tech got it, but no signal yet. And they do. The 3rd turnover of the ball game.
Mike, they pooched the kick to the tight end because they're so afraid of the speed of South Carolina. What you usually tell your tight end to do when the ball's kicked that high and you're concerned about it coming down, fair catch the ball. He didn't fair catch it. He tried to handle it. It bounced off his thigh pads. Watch right here. It's in good shape. It just went through his hands. He was concerned about the rush. He should have fair caught it.
Big break for the Yellow Jackets after getting the touchdown there at the South Carolina 37.
Now here's where you may go for broke.
And that's what Jones wants. He has a man out there. Rodriguez couldn't hold it. Surratt got back and interfered with the catch to knock it away. He was open, though.
Good call. Just he's a little late throwing the football right now, Mike. He's just a little slow pulling the trigger. He just waits a little too long. See that little hitch? And he overstrides a little bit. He's open. You just need to get the ball to him a little sooner. They're still okay. They got 2 downs now to get the first down. Bobby Rodriguez did a nice job of keeping this ball from being intercepted and almost trying to make the reception.
Bobby Ross said earlier this week he thought Jones was over that hesitation because he was more sure of where to go on the offense, but not that time. Jones on the option. Edwards, nice cut to the 30. Grabbed by the face mask and brought down, and flags fly. The tackle made by Leon Harris, the free safety, but he had a handful of steel to do it. Boy, Edwards makes nice cuts.
The reason the option has been so effective is that South Carolina has a real problem on their hands with a strong safety in the weak side linebacker.
Mike Tolbert. Defense, 5 yards, first down.
Mike Tolbert's really playing out of position because of an injury. They had to move him out here. You'll see 87. He's on the block too long right there. It's a nice block by Emmett Merchant, but you have to get rid of the block quicker than that to play the option. Here you see the face mask right here.
And that is the first penalty against the Gamecocks today with 4 minutes to go in the half. Jones not having those impressive numbers. 4 out of 11, 40 yards and an interception. Scotton, the fullback, stopped shy of the 20-yard line. Middle linebacker Patrick Hinton was there first, or should I say inside linebacker.
If you're going to work the outside like Georgia Tech is, occasionally you got to keep them honest with Scotton up inside. South Carolina's defense has played well. Where they're breaking down a little bit on the outside because they're in a little bit of a bind. Their coaches with the strong safety and outside backer position being as thin as it is, and they've got people playing out of position.
Second down, 8 yards to go. Clock turning, 3:22 to go in the half. Tech up 7-0, bidding for more. Jones gives it to Edwards. Boy, he's had some massive holes to run through. That side inside the 10. When Edwards has been in here, the middle opens up like the Red Sea.
Tailback counter play. Again, you have the angles on the block. The reason I believe Georgia Tech's having so much success running the ball right now is, remember, they just came off that big, long drive. That defense was tired, called a timeout. They're back on the field and can't recover.
Edwards, 7 carries, 45, and look at the domination on the ground for Georgia Tech. Edwards again, very shifty, got down to the 5-yard line. Eric Brown, the freshman who was shaken up earlier, back in the game, makes the tackle.
Coach Ross knows they need to get points here. They've got a tired South Carolina defense here because they've had 2 drives back-to-back. They need to take advantage of it.
They've been on the field most of 11 minutes in this quarter. Second and goal from the 5, another option. This time defensed very, very well, and Gerald Dixon, number 99, got Sean Jones from behind. Didn't look a lot like the other option play, did it?
No, they played a lot better on the outside right there, Mike. Both strong safety and outside backers. You see right here Sean Jones coming down. Not a fake at all, letting Scotton go set it up, but the play was made from the backside. Excellent job right there, coming around the block by Gerald Dixon.
Third and goal from the 6. Jones didn't like what he saw. Appeared to be some confusion on offense, and burns his last time out. Shouldn't be a problem, though. They still have 1:34 to go in the half.
Yeah, I think it's a good timeout. Anytime you get in this situation, you don't want a mistake down here. 23 straight plays, Mike. The South Carolina defense has been on the field. Georgia Tech must make them pay. You know, they need to score right here. And I think this is something, again, on 3rd and 6 that you'll get the quarterback, Sean Jones, on some kind of roll where you get him outside where he can run pass option.
This is also the kind of a situation where frustration can set in on a defense, especially you're out there nearly 8 minutes and you thought, well, they got the touchdown, but maybe we can do something. And you give it away on the kickoff and put them right back out there. You get a little tired of that.
You really do. You make some mistakes, and now you really have to reach back and make a play here to try to hold them to 3.
Rayovac halftime report coming up in just a moment with Tim Brando and Lee Corso, our buddies in the studio. They'll update you on everything. Of course, as with every Saturday afternoon, some major surprises in college football.
Split. One pass, 41. Pass screen it out. One tight.
As we told you at the top of this telecast, the winner of this game most certainly to be in the top 20. Both undefeated coming in, and I'm so impressed with Georgia Tech's defense so far.
Really played well. You know, when you look at the top 20, and they belong in there. Both these teams may have belonged in a little sooner, but both the winner today should obviously enter that next week.
3rd and goal from the 6. Georgia Tech has only converted 1 third down in this game. Edwards and Scotton are the backs. Play action. Scotton out of the backfield, knocked out at the 3. Nice play by Brown, saved the touchdown, fighting off Joe Sifry's block.
Good play call. You got to take the field goal now. A good play call by, I believe, Sean Jones is just a little slow throwing the football again. A little quicker, and that may have been a touchdown. The 3 points here, you have to take the 3.
On a play like that, if you turn around and look at your receiver for a second, you're just inviting the defense to go after him. He's got to believe that that guy's going to be where he's supposed to be.
It's got to be a quick fake and get it out there a little sooner.
Sisson, who has hit 3 out of 5 field goals this year, will try from 20 yards. See his numbers from last year. Aldridge, the punter, is the holder, and this kid gets great height on the kicks and puts it through from 20 yards away, and Georgia Tech has taken a 10-0 lead on South Carolina. Hope you've enjoyed this ball game so far. 10-0 Georgia Tech over South Carolina with 1:24 to go, because coming up later on ESPN, a lot more great college football action. After our halftime report, of course, we have quarters 3 and 4 from Atlanta, but then Tennessee and Auburn, 2 of the top 5 teams in the country, go at it at 7:30 Eastern here on ESPN. And following that ball game, Washington State will take on UCLA, a Pac-10 contest that starts at 11 o'clock Eastern time. Your place to be for college football. Let's see what Georgia Tech does with this kickoff.
Well, I think one thing you can be sure, they're not going to kick it to those deep guys right now with the speed that they have. Probably the same type of kick they kicked a little bit ago to the tight end or the up back on the kickoff return team.
Eddie Miller, one of the receivers back there, along with Brooks and Adams, they can fly. And they go short again. Fair catch signaled for, just as you called last time. What they should have done, they did this time.
It's tough, you know, when you have the coverage coming down, the ball's pooched like that, Mike. It's tough to catch the ball in the face of that on rush.
Now the question for South Carolina, starting from your own 24 with 1:22 to go. What do you do on offense? You just want to go in the locker room down 10-0? You want to try to do something with it?
In this particular game, I think they've got to try to throw some short passes to see if they can get up the field. Nothing dangerous, but short passes to work their way up the field.
Brooks, Miller, and Platt, 3 outstanding receivers in the game. And Fuller uses a timeout. Boy, that hurts. They should have your offensive setup pretty well in mind when you come out here. And he has to use one of 2 remaining timeouts.
Either he saw something in the Tech defense that he didn't like his particular play against, or he wanted to get a substitution of some kind in here.
I don't think he's seen anything in the Tech defense he likes yet in the first half.
I tell you, the Georgia Tech defense has been the key early in this game, Mike, because they frustrated the offense of South Carolina and kept them off the board.
There's the timeout story. South Carolina with 1 left and 1:22 to go. NFL Game Day, noon Eastern. That's tomorrow. The first word in professional football. We'll update you on everything that's coming up that day. And then, of course, 7 o'clock with NFL Primetime. Back for highlights of everything that's happened during the afternoon.
You don't want a mistake here, Mike. You don't want to compound your problem right here, but something safe or something deep up the field.
Dingle, the single setback. 4-man rush. Fuller with plenty of time, can't find anyone, and now throws it away. Good decision, and something maybe he should have done more of, not only in this ball game, but in other ball games, because he's taken so many sacks.
You know, they're just out of sync right now. I think if I was Sparky Woods right now, I might just say, let's get the ball to the tailback. Let's go into the locker room, try to figure out what's going on, and see what happens. You see Platt, he's open, but he's open late, and it's such a long throw across the field for Fuller right here. Again, I think I'd hand the ball off here and go in at halftime.
And that's maybe what they're going to do. Dingle didn't have a chance. Williams got a hand on an ankle, tripped him up at the 25. Georgia Tech can't stop it. They don't have any timeouts left.
Now, see, South Carolina's out of sync a little bit. They're going to go without a huddle here, so he'll probably throw the football here. Something, again, either way deep down the field or something safe, just enough to pick the first down up.
3rd and 7. Fuller rifles this, and it can't be held by Platt, who was running a crossing route underneath. So that stops the clock with 47 seconds to go. And here's the chance, as far as I'm concerned, for Georgia Tech to try to block a punt.
They can try to block the punt right here or try to set up a return, Mike. Now you're playing for 3 points right now. You don't have any timeouts left. So now what you've got to be able to do is either go for the block or set up a return and get a field goal. That's what you have to be thinking about right now.
Jason McGill, the return man. Darren Parker is the punter. 9 men on the line. Now 10. Play clock down to 5 seconds. They don't get there. Nice punt by Parker. McGill with nobody to block, fumbles the football. And South Carolina has it at the 29-yard line. What a break for the Gamecocks, and a cardinal error by Jason McGill.
Those are the kind of plays, Mike, that drive coaches crazy. Jason McGill is set up. There's nobody back because they were trying to rush the kick. He just takes his eye off the ball. The second look here. He's eyeing the football up. I think he just takes his eye off the ball and looks at the rush. Now, Georgia Tech defense again is going to be asked to hold him back.
They have not given up a touchdown this year. Movement along the offensive line, no flag. Fuller under pressure. Gets rid of it, complete but short. Only a couple of yards. Clock running, 27 seconds to go.
They have to go without a huddle now, Mike, because there's no timeouts. This is where you need your timeouts, but they have to get a field goal.
Scoreboard shows they have 1 left. Fuller can't find anyone. Now throws complete to Miller at the 11-yard line.
I don't know.
Clock running.
They'll move it because of the change, Mike. So now what they have to do is use their timeout and make a decision now whether to kick the field goal and take the 3 points or take one more play. They're going to kick the field goal.
They stopped it with 5 seconds to go. Take the timeout. And they will go for the field goal. So Georgia Tech has gone through 10 quarters. The defense has not allowed a touchdown.
Well, if you're South Carolina, you're the coaching staff right now, this is found points.
Oh, yeah.
You thought you were going into halftime behind 10-0. So somebody might say, well, why don't you take one play and throw it in the end zone? Take the points, go in, and it'll be a morale booster. Regroup at halftime.
Colin Mackey, an outstanding kicker. He only has 2 out of 5 field goals this year. This will be a 29-yard try. And the way the Georgia Tech defense has dominated South Carolina, Mike, you're right. These would be found points. The second turnover for Georgia Tech. They threw an interception earlier. But South Carolina's committed 3.
Yeah, the play before that was almost picked off.
Yeah.
Bobby Fuller's out of sync, and the whole offense is out of sync. Georgia Tech has played well on defense to have this mistake and give up 3 points here.
Where's a lonely young man, Jason McGill, walking the sideline for Georgia Tech.
Great thing about athletics, though, he'll be out in the second half and get a chance to redeem himself. So,
and I'll bet he can't wait either.
I think he's worried a little bit about going in the locker room.
Mackey, a 29-yard field goal attempt. And he's got it. So South Carolina takes advantage of the turnover. It's the third time they've been in Georgia Tech territory, the first time they've gotten any points out of it. And 2 seconds remain on the first half clock.
You know, the one thing that's happening too is that the South Carolina fans were out of this ball game.
Yeah.
And there's 12,000 plus here. They're now back in the game. They can go enjoy a hot dog and a Coke and say, I'm looking forward to the second half now.
And they sound like more than 12,000 too.
Wow.
So now South Carolina maps its strategy with 2 seconds to go. You can probably expect a little short kick. They don't want to give up the big play either.
No, they'll just squib kick this ball and feel very good about going into halftime.
McGill will go back as the deep man, but he probably won't get an opportunity to redeem himself right yet. He went to the wrong side of the field. It's a tough first half.
I told you, he's worried about going to that locker room right now, but second half he'll come out and probably make something happen for the punt return team. It's just a tough feeling, you know, when you compete and you make a mistake like that. No one's perfect, and there are going to be mistakes. Just don't compound them. Get it over with and get started in a new fashion.
Mackey kicking off. Short hop, loose ball. And that will run out the clock in the first half. A battle of defenses. Georgia Tech with a 10-3 lead over South Carolina at the half in Atlanta. We'll be back with our halftime report in just a moment. Thanks very much, and I'm interested in what we're going to say about that too. Here's the halftime score: Georgia Tech over South Carolina, 10-3. I remember one thing we said just before that kick is that Georgia Tech was going so well that they might have a chance to put some more points on the board.
Well, there's 47 seconds left. If he makes the catch and picks up 5 yards, then you always want to be on the offensive. You know, things are going your way. So, you know, I understand why he was back there. I know what Lee's talking about. You can look at it a couple different ways,
Sure.
but I'd rather be on the offensive, take the kick, get a 5 yards, then start and try to get myself 3 points on the board.
All right, let's take a look at the first half statistics, and what you'll see is the domination of Georgia Tech on the ground. 145 yards to 29, a tribute to the way they've played defensively all year.
It really has, and if this continues, if the rushing yardage stays at that kind of level for South Carolina, they will not win this football game. The other thing that's important is the 3 turnovers were turnovers when they were in plus territory. Here's the touchdown. Now again, the best thing you can do coaching-wise sometime is counter something that you've done well. The first 2 games, they always ran to number 80. They came back and ran away from it, ran the option, walked in.
Georgia Tech so far in this game has refused to kick the ball deep. Now they do. And the center deep man is Robert Brooks at the goal line. To the 23-yard line. Brooks brought down by Fry, reserve linebacker, as he crossed the 20. What do you do with South Carolina when things have not worked that well? You haven't been able to get your big running back going. What do you change?
I would feel very fortunate at this stage to be behind 10-3. I would come back out and reestablish the game plan I started, and I'd give the ball to Dingle. And I'd work him and make him cut back and try to get some yards and try to wear out this Georgia Tech defense a little bit.
Dingle's had 200-yard games. In the other game, he was injured, didn't play all of it. He'll get the carry here. Nice hole up the middle. Picks up about 6-7 yards. Brought down by Keith Holmes, number 30. One of the corners who came up to make the stop.
You know, he's a back that's going to carry the ball 30 times in the ball game. And on this particular play, it's a counter. And again, on the counter play, you get good angles. You see the double team right here, and then the tackle coming off on the backer. I'd just continue to run Dingle and mix it up every now and then with pass. The key is on first down, getting yardage.
He has 11 carries for 36 so far. The big guy has it again, nowhere to go. And the second time on a run, he's lost his balance and slipped down. Marco Coleman, the outside linebacker, covered him.
And sometimes, Mike, the turf, you know, he looks a little gimpy also. He wants out, and he raised his hand there. It's like the old North Carolina basketball. Send somebody in for me, coach. But they have had trouble on the turf. And maybe it's a psychological thing, maybe it's not. But that's the slipping. You just can't have that.
Frank Adams, number 21, comes in, and they throw to the tight end. Out to the 39-yard line. Charles Stewart with his first catch. Willie Clay, who always takes the wide side of the field, knocked him out of bounds.
Just a flood pattern where they moved both receivers over to that side of the field, the wide side of the field, and rolled out and threw the ball to the tight end in the flat. Charles Stewart, an outstanding tight end. Dingo's still on the sidelines. I think he's hurt and wants to play, but I don't know if he's going to be effective.
Adams, who's listed as the 5th string running back, is in there. Picks up a couple across the 40 to about the 42-yard line.
He's a quicker back, and so he'll be a little tougher and a little more elusive to tackle. But when you're a team that has foot-to-foot splits, you need a good push off the line of scrimmage to create a hole. And so it's going to be cutback type plays or plays where he can break outside. This particular back, Dingo stays inside. This back has to take it outside.
2nd and 7 for South Carolina. Adams takes a big shot as he got to the 45-yard line. Marco Coleman, the first man to hit him.
Bringing in a nickel situation now on 3rd down with the extra DBs in. The last time on 3rd down, they were very successful in rolling out and hitting the tight end. I think that's probably something they're going to try to do a little more of in the second half here, a sprint toward the tight end. They have 3 receivers on the right side here.
3rd and 4, the crowd getting back into it, trying to exhort the defense. Four-man rush. Fuller under pressure. And they got it. Sacked at the 43-yard line. Chris Simmons with the 2nd sack for the Georgia Tech defense. A straight four-man rush. They ran a stunt and got 3.
What they're doing on defense on passing situations in 3rd down, as the South Carolina sets up the block, you get some line twists inside where some people are coming free. Bobby Fuller can't move up in the pocket like that and expect his protection to hold up for him. He's going to sit back there and wait for something to open.
Parker to punt. McGill, who made the mistake in the first half, waiting at the 15. Bad kick by Parker. Straight up in the air toward the sideline and out of bounds. A 17-yard punt, and Georgia Tech will be able to start from its own 38-yard line.
It's important for Georgia Tech defense to come out and reestablish their domination. They did it. Now the Georgia Tech offense needs to come out and get back in a rhythm. South Carolina's defense now has to reestablish that dominance in this football game to try to keep their offense in the game till they get unglued a little bit.
In the first quarter, South Carolina had really shut down the Georgia Tech ground game, but in the second quarter, Tech really opened it up. They had some gaping holes, especially in the middle. Sean Jones signaling to the sideline. Dingle with the ice pack on the neck. Edwards in at tailback. Across the 40 to the 45 to the 47-yard line. A gain of 8 brought down by Joe Reeves, and we understand Bell has a slight injury and might not be back.
It's very fortunate when you have a tailback that can come off the bench like Edwards does here. And he burst into the hole, good blocking up front, good trap blocking, and opened the hole. It's a delay which causes the linebackers to freeze a little bit, allowing the offensive line to get on top of them and block them.
Edwards 57 yards rushing. The tight end fighting for yardage. Covington dragging people with him down to the South Carolina 43-yard line. Gang tackled there after a gain of 11. And for one of the few times today, Mike, Sean Jones got rid of the ball on time in a hurry.
He got rid of it quick because the blitz was on that side. It was a 4-man blitz. It's a hot read to the tight end. He dumped it right away to Tom Covington and let him run with it. That was a blitz read by the quarterback, which was outstanding.
Remember, he was a wishbone quarterback in high school. On the option, Scotton, maybe a yard. Good play by Kurt Wilson.
Kurt Wilson played for Bobby Ross at Maryland and then transferred to South Carolina. So Bobby Ross and his staff, Ralph Friedgen and Terry Strock, and the people that knew this particular player know how well he can play and have a lot of respect for him.
And of course, that's the kind of situation where Kurt Wilson wants to have a big game too.
That's exactly right.
2nd and 8. Covington in motion. Pressure. Jones can't get away this time. And speaking of big plays, Kurt Wilson.
He said, Coach, that's one for you. I tell you, I'd never liked that when a guy transferred. I didn't want him ever to play against me. But Kurt Wilson does a nice job. It's a counter fake. Sean Jones does exactly what he's supposed to do. Somebody didn't block Kurt Wilson. They didn't seal him down inside, and he did not take the counter fake.
Wilson was hurt in '88, tried to play with a knee injury, then sat out all of '89 to recuperate, and now he's back, and it's a big boost for this defense. They needed some help up front. 3rd and 13.
Mike Dell probably try to throw the ball deep down the field here.
Complete Rodriguez at the 30. Shakes the tackle, gets to the 28-yard line. The little guy battling for every yard he could get. Mike Tolbert made the stop, but it's a gain of 23 and a first down.
When you get in that kind of situation, 3rd and long, and you're in the plus territory, put the ball down the football field. And that's exactly what Sean Jones did. Bobby Rodriguez is wide open. And after he makes the catch, tries to work himself free, and the tackle's made by Leon Harris and Mike Tolbert.
I said it was 3rd and 13. It was 3rd and 18 on that play, and a big play for Georgia Tech's offense. Option. Jones nowhere to go. Defense beautifully that time, and once again from the backside by Gerald Dixon. He really hustled down the line.
They talk about good coaching. Credit South Carolina here. This is the play that hurt them in the first half, where they bring both receivers over. See them both over here. They got an extra blocker, but they got Mike Tolbert up the field quicker to try to make Sean Jones make a move quicker. The pursuit's there. Good tackle by Gerald Dixon. A good adjustment by the South Carolina defense.
Always thought that the option, you really had to have players that had discipline.
You really do.
7th play of this drive for Georgia Tech, 2nd and 14. Pettis and Rodriguez, the wideouts. Jones with time. Rodriguez at the 10 to the 5. Cedric Surratt, their best cover man, was beaten by Rodriguez, and Jones seems to have a little more rhythm in his passes in the second half.
Well, he's got the feeling right now. He's hot. This is a quick pass where he was going to throw a quick pass to Bobby Rodriguez. Bobby Rodriguez read it and broke on the post pattern, and in great position to make that catch. Nice read by Bobby Rodriguez on the defense.
1st and goal, Georgia Tech. Split the backs, Edwards and Scotland. Edwards. Close to the 2-yard line. Hinton on top of him.
Good penetration there by Kurt Wilson. He almost got to Sean Jones before he even handed the ball off.
It's a big offensive line for Georgia Tech. They've got some bodies in there.
Saying earlier, Mike Mooney at 316 pounds. They have to take him down to the university, shipping and receiving to weigh him.
2nd and goal from the 2. Scotton. Touchdown. Little smash mouth football.
Followed the block of Jay Martin in motion. Followed him right in the end zone.
Little breathing room for Georgia Tech. They're up 16-3.
Good blocking by Jay Martin and good blocking by the outside of the line, and Tom Covington right there. Good push on the South Carolina defense. Pushed him in the end zone.
Sisson going for his 40th consecutive point after and has it. The streak continues, and Georgia Tech has taken a 17-3 lead over undefeated South Carolina. 7:12 to go, 3rd period.
Recently, Four Wheel and Off-Road magazine tested the latest imports and domestics to determine this year's 4x4 of the year. The The winner was then tested against past 4x4 of the Year winners to determine the best of the best. They compared power, performance, and handling. And when it was over, Jeep Cherokee stood on familiar ground.
Now get 0% financing or $1,000 cash back on new Jeep Cherokees.
The Corlick sisters on Denny's 10-minute guarantee for breakfast and lunch.
Your lunch, madam.
21 minutes, I get it for free. You can't get a free meal here. They're backing out of their 10-minute guarantee. This place never had a 10-minute guarantee. What kind of guarantee do they have? Guarantee to throw us out of here if you don't keep quiet. Well, that's a lousy offer. This joint needs a lesson in service from Lenny. Denny's.
Try Denny's no-holds-barred, ironclad, written in stone, we really mean it guarantee.
Most people don't think about high efficiency till it's too late. But if your home doesn't have an efficient Heil furnace, you could be throwing money right up the chimney. A Heil furnace keeps you warm without freezing the rest of your budget. Heil Home Heating Systems, the energy savers.
ESPN's coverage of college football, South Carolina at Georgia Tech, is brought to you by Jeep. There's only one Jeep. And by USF&G Insurance, protecting your business, home, auto, and life. USF&G, standing behind the USA. Georgia Tech up 17-3 with 7:12 to go third quarter. Mike Patrick and Mike Gottfried with you on ESPN from Atlanta, Georgia. And they are rocking at Georgia Tech. Brooks at the 6. He's got great speed across the 30. A return of 25 for Robert Brooks. There's the drive, 4 minutes, 27 seconds. An impressive drive that covered 62 yards. And since the end of the first quarter, Georgia Tech's offense has kept the ball control offense, moved it up and down, and been able to score.
It was important to score in that first drive to, again, get the crowd of South Carolina out of this particular game. Now, this is a key drive for Bobby Fuller now. He's going to have to complete some passes and try to get the ball up the football field.
And Georgia Tech winning also in the time of possession. Fuller on the play fake. Guns this one over the middle, incomplete. Brooks couldn't hold it and almost intercepted. Certainly the hardest throw that Fuller has made today. He rifled that one.
That was a good throw right here. He was just a little bit behind him. The thing that you don't want to happen if you're South Carolina on first down. Here he's got him open coming across the middle. Robert Brooks just a little high, but the ball is catchable. You don't want a bad play on first down because you don't want to let Georgia Tech turn those people loose on a pass rush on second down.
Catchable ball by Brooks, and as talented as he is, number 6 all time in South Carolina receiving history, he could have made that catch. 4-man rush against Fuller, dumps it short. Nice grab that time by the tight end Charles Stewart. Makes his second catch, and a flag goes down for a late hit. Stewart was knocked all the way into the bench, and not a smart play by the Georgia Tech defense that time.
You don't want those kind of penalties right now. You got the game in control a little bit. You want to make them work the field. That's you're giving up a first down.
Late hit out of bounds against the defense. First down.
Just a tight end crossing. Charles Stewart, who's from Valdosta, Georgia, a very good football program. And he's clearly hit out of bounds by Calvin Teagle. A real big mistake right here because the way you're playing defensively, you don't want to give him a first down. You just gave him a first down and a half.
Keep in mind, Georgia Tech's defense has not allowed a touchdown this year. This is their third game. Fuller dumps it off. Dingle out of the backfield, down to the 31-yard line, another first down. Stopped by Thomas Balcom, the strong safety, after a gain of 13.
They're opening the ball game up a little bit here. Dingle's tough after he catches the ball. I look for Georgia Tech to come after him now. If they're going to open it up to a twin set on one side with a tight end on the other side, look for Georgia Tech now to start blitzing a little bit more when they get closer.
Wide receivers split left and right, 1st and 10. Dingle the single setback. And he'll get the carry on the delay. Once again, falls down. And this is the only game that South Carolina plays on artificial turf.
Well, it starts to play with your head a little bit as a coach, and all of a sudden the coach is going to look down there for the equipment manager and say, do we have the right shoes on? Because he's having a problem right now, and he just doesn't seem to, since the game started, has been able to get himself going, but he's such a good football player.
And they haven't won a game on artificial turf in 10 years. Delay again. Dingle to the 29-yard line. Brought down by Coleman.
That play looked like it was going to get more yardage.
Yeah.
The thing at Georgia Tech's defense, they are so quick. They get off blocks so quick. They were blocked, got off of them. They have great quickness on defense.
That's what Bobby Ross said earlier this week. He said that this is really the first year he's had this kind of speed. Guys that can run.
He's
third and 6.
He's recruited well, Mike,
yes,
from all over the country.
Fuller had time, throws into a crowd, knocked away. Any one of 4 people could have caught that one. Slow getting up is Curly Day, who came into the game with a sprained knee.
There was a parade around this ball because everybody was there. Bobby Fuller sets up and was going to go to the tight end. I think at the last moment tried to hit Dingle over the middle. I think Dingle got a little too far down the football field. They're going to try to come away with a field goal here.
Colin Mackey will come on. It will be a 47-yard attempt. Got the distance. And it's through. That makes it 17-6, cutting the lead to 11. You still need 2 scores and a 2-point conversion just to tie it up.
Nothing beats #1. Nothing beats the king of beers. Nothing beats clean, crisp, and cold. This is the best, and we've got it right here. Yeah. Nothing beats a Bud, yeah, nothing beats a Bud, yeah, nothing beats a Budweiser. Nothing beats a Bud.
Recently, 4-Wheel and Off-Road Magazine took this year's 4x4 of the Year winner and all the past winners and conducted a head-to-head showdown to determine the best of the best. So who won? Who do you think? There are a lot of 4x4s out there, but there's only one Jeep.
Now get 0% financing or $1,000 cash back on new Jeep Cherokees.
Heating your house efficiently can be a tough job. Learn how to do it with the facts about energy-efficient furnaces and heat pumps. It's all in the Heil Home Comfort Guide, free when you call this number. Learn how systems work, about efficiency ratings, about units from the inside out. Call Heil for your free copy of the Home Comfort Guide. Heil Home Heating Systems, the energy savers.
2 years ago when these teams met here in Atlanta, it was once again the Georgia Tech defense that did the job. Todd Ellis throws, pass deflected, intercepted by Andre Thomas. He would go 51 yards for a touchdown to make it 31-0 at the half. Tech went on to win 34-0. Thomas earlier set up another touchdown with an earlier interception. It was all Georgia Tech and all defense, and the situation very much the same today. The defense has been superb as you get a good look at the skyline of Atlanta, Georgia, the host city for the 1996 Summer Olympics. Short kick taken by one of the up men at the 15. That's Martin, the blocker, in the goal line situations. He's out across the 30 to the 31, 32-yard line. South Carolina went 41 yards before Mackey had to come in to kick the 47-yard field goal. And I guess facing 4th and 6, a little too much to ask them to go for it the way Georgia Tech's played them.
I think so. I think what you're looking at now is an 8-point. If you get a score, you're going to go for 2, and then you're a field goal away from a tie. So that should try to keep it on those numbers.
Lawson and Edwards are the backs. Edwards runs into his own man. No way, not going anywhere. Number 93, Patrick Blackwell, makes the tackle. Let's go back to our studio and Tim Brando for a baseball update.
All right, Mike, thank you. It's all over in the National League Western Division. The reason San Francisco beats Los Angeles 4-3 to eliminate the Dodgers. So the Reds are on their way to the divisional playoffs. The NLCS could be taking on, think about this, the Reds could be taking on the Bucks, two teams in the National League that did not make the playoffs in the decade of the 80s.
All right, thank you, Tim. 4:20 to go here. 2nd and 12, Georgia Tech. And Sean Jones will burn a timeout. We have a timeout on the field. 4:16 to go, third quarter. Georgia Tech 17, South Carolina 6.
So we put in this new furnace, and our bills are really
down.
Exactly.
Must be a Lennox.
Get up to $400 cash back on selected Lennox heating and cooling purchases. Get $400 in savings bonds or $200 cash back on selected purchases with Coil.
Commitment, value, respect. 3 reasons why people keep coming back to Joe Bear Plumbing and Heating. Discover the Joe Bear difference and see what quality really is.
Attaboy, Dave.
All the deep down quality that makes a Buick so enjoyable on a Saturday afternoon is forged in the heat of weekends we spend throughout the year. So while you're considering the ownership of a bright new Buick, rest assured that Buick engineers are out at the nation's racetracks, racing to make your new Buick even better.
See all the new Buicks at Joyce Buick in Mansfield.
There's something to shout about on ESPN.
Hawkins may go all the way. At the 20, 15, 10, 5, touchdown. Sack time.
Touchdown! It's a crucial battle that could decide the Southeast Conference champion. Auburn collides with Tennessee, then UCLA faces Washington State. It's all part of a college football quadruple header tonight, live on ESPN.
4:16 to go, third period. Georgia Tech leads South Carolina by 11. Both teams came into this game undefeated, and most certainly the winner will be in the top 20. And I think Georgia Tech is really establishing itself as one of the better teams in the country this year. They face the 2nd and 12 right now from their own 29. Edwards looked a little indecisive, and South Carolina really fired up on defense. Mike Landry makes the stop, and it looks like they told him on the sideline, hey guys, it's up to you, it's now or never.
They're coming after the football right now. They are penetrating right now. They're not sitting around reading the football right now. They're going after it. Watch them here on defense. They're taking gaps, they're moving inside, and they're meeting the blocks of the offensive linemen in the backfield on the pulling guard.
3rd and 14, Georgia Tech.
Big draw down right here for Georgia Tech.
Jones with time, throws for Merchant, intercepted. There is a flag down on the play. Eric Anderson, the best defensive back for South Carolina, who has a separated shoulder, made the interception. The call is holding. The turnover will stand.
You can feel it right now in this last series of downs. South Carolina defense, exactly what you said, Mike. It's now or never. They brought the crowd back into the game. They created a turnover. And now the key is what Bobby Fuller and the offense can do with it.
That's 3 turnovers for both ball clubs. The 2nd interception for Jones.
Deep drop by Sean Jones. It's a shake route where you fake the post and go to the corner. And just an outstanding interception right there by Eric Anderson.
The pressure back on the Georgia Tech defense, or depending on how you look at it, maybe the South Carolina offense. Fuller trying to buy time, bang from behind. He was drilled by Coleman.
One thing I can see, you don't have a lot of time to throw the ball against this defense. Bobby Fuller, if he's going to throw a pass, a drop back pass or a rollout, it's either got to be one or the other. Here he's getting out of the pocket again too early, and he's setting up, and he's indecisive. Nothing may be open downfield for him. If that's the case, tuck it and go with it.
Coleman led the ACC in sacks in 1989. And Fuller can't get his line set and has to take a timeout.
That's not Bobby Fuller's fault. I think what happened is they had, again, a bad formation that he didn't like. And he knows this is a critical part of the ball game. You just get a turnover from your defense. You must transfer that into some points.
Now you see the players coming over saying, hey, I thought I was supposed to be over here.
It's his fault. No, it's his fault. I mean,
yeah. Let's check in with Tim Brando and get a score update. Tim?
All right, we're going to take you out to Eugene, Oregon. The Quack attack is on. Musgrave in the air. Musgrave on the ground. Look out. The folks from Provo know now it could be over for them as far as national championship possibilities are over. In the fourth quarter, the Ducks by 22. Mike?
32-10. The Quack attack is for real.
That's the thing about college football. We were talking earlier, Mike, I really believe Sean Moore is a guy who is having such a great year at Virginia that he should be given more consideration. I know it's early for the Heisman Trophy, and it's too early really to discuss who wins it, but what he's done with that program down there and the success he's had, and I was very impressed with him.
Of course, a loss will hurt Detmer. 2nd and 10. Fuller can't complete it. Tried to hit his tight end, Stewart, who's caught a couple just off his fingertips. And once again, Marco Coleman drew a beat on Fuller.
Nice coverage by the tight end, Thomas Balcom. Charles Stewart was on a crossing route. I think this was thrown pretty well. Bobby Fuller couldn't throw this ball much better, and he threw it right here. Watch a tight end on a crossing route right here. Charles Stewart, 88, being followed by the strong safety, Thomas Balcom, just out of his reach, just barely.
3rd and 10. Comes the blitz. Coleman got him again. Coleman freed up by a blitzing linebacker. Got Bobby Fuller around the ankles and brought him down. 6'4", 250, a sophomore, great speed, and loves to go quarterback hunting.
A key in the defense. Watch the line twist right here. 95 going beyond. He's not picked up. They're confusing the blocking assignments of South Carolina with the twists.
They'll have to punt it away on 4th and 14. Parker to kick, and Jason McGill, who would love to get a nice return to make up for that fumble, is back. Line drive kick, returnable from the 14. He's got a chance. Couldn't clear a defender at the 22. Big seam up the middle. An 8-yard return after a 43-yard kick. And the hand is for the Georgia Tech defense, which did its job again. Kevin Peoples was down to make the tackle on special teams. Can't say enough about that Tech defense. Every time they've been challenged.
I'll tell you what they've done. They've bent, but they haven't broken. And they have been in bad field position, and they keep coming up with plays.
A couple of pretty decent defenses coming up next. Tennessee against Auburn. 2 of the top 5 teams in the country. Jones changing the play. Can't even hear it home. Edwards pounds it across the 25. Give him a gain of 5 yards to the 27.
What Georgia Tech would like now to do is have a nice long drive and burn that clock a little bit. And they're now in a 2nd and 6 situation. Anytime you get more than 4 yards or more on first down, puts you in such great shape play calling wise. You can go to several different things.
Edwards, 13 carries, 60 yards coming into the game. Because of a hamstring injury, he'd only carried it 5 times. Option, Edwards on the toss. Avoiding a tackle, slips down at the 29. Covered by Mike Tolbert.
Kurt Wilson is having an All-American day on defense. He came off a block. If he didn't make the play there, that ball was going to go down toward the goal line. Watch right here, Kurt Wilson, number 92 inside. He'll come off a block and look at the hole. Here he comes off the block, make the play.
3rd and 2. Option again. Late toss that time to Jeff Wright. And if you're Jeff Wright, you're saying, don't throw it to me here. You're only a foot away from it.
The other thing that's important, Eric Brown, the freshman, made the tackle. South Carolina defense is saying we're not going to quit. We're not going to give up. We're going to win this football game somehow.
They are keeping their team in it. A lot of pressure on Brown, and they have a 10-man front again to go after punter Scott Aldridge.
Here they come.
And Aldridge did his job. He got it out of there. Carl Platt signaling fair catch. Dives, lost it. Georgia Tech football. The 4th turnover. And South Carolina killing itself with mistakes.
He just didn't get to the football. He was so far back. The best thing he could have did was get away from the ball. He has to come up too far. He's making his fair catch signal, but he had too far to come. It's just a bad break for South Carolina.
Kevin Peoples makes the recovery for the Jackets.
Georgia Tech must make them pay now.
Jones to Merchant at the 20. Took the hit from Leon Harris, but held on. And how many times have you seen it? The big play after the turnover.
Well, you catch a team when they're down a little bit from the turnover. They come in, they walk on the field, their heads down a little bit, and then you try to make them pay. Hit a post pattern off of play action right here. The reason it was open was because a good fake by Sean Jones held the linebackers and created the seam behind them.
Heck of a catch by Merchant. Right. Gaping hole up the middle. 5. Touchdown.
That's
Georgia Tech has used today produces the big play, and Sparky Woods knows his club's in an awful lot of trouble now. With 3 seconds to go in the period, it is 23-6. Sisson will try to make it 24, and does. There's a flag down on the point after. And we have some people very upset about it, too.
Ball, illegal procedure on the offensive team. Will try the point again. 5-yard penalty.
On the touchdown, it's a sprint draw play. Watch Stephen Scott lead the way on the block on the linebacker. Good block, opened it up, and now it's just go for the juggler. After that fumble, you could just tell the Georgia Tech team, offensive team, felt like we need to go for the juggler now and try to turn it up a notch.
Wright's a freshman, 6'1", 200. Nifty move there to dodge a tackle. Sisson now with a 25-yard extra point, and it's perfect. And Georgia Tech on the way to raising its record to 3-0 and handing the Gamecocks their first defeat. Are down 24-6, and that's Carl Platt, the young man whose failure to make that fair catch set it up.
Again, watch the block of Scott, and Jeff Wright, the freshman, makes a good move on the safety, Leon Harris, to break in the end zone for the touchdown. Now the problem comes for the South Carolina offense, and you can bet now that front four on Georgia Tech is going to have some fun and come on the pass rush.
Coleman is over there licking his chops, figuring he can add to his total. And for the most part, they've gotten their pass rush done with 4 guys.
Great thing about this crowd in college football, which you talked about earlier, Mike, is Georgia Tech people are excited. They're happy this game's on TV. They're excited about this game, excited about their team.
Scoring drive didn't take long, did it? 23 seconds, 43 yards.
I don't think I'd kick it deep here. I wouldn't want him to get any kind of shot to get back in this game. I believe I'd try to pooch this kick.
I was surprised they kicked the last one deep. At the 14-yard line, taken by Frank Adams. And shy of the 30. And that's the end of the third quarter. We're in Atlanta, where the homestanding Yellow Jackets of Georgia Tech have taken control over South Carolina. It's 24-6.
Dear Rayovac, I recently came across an old battery-run shoe polisher. Since I hadn't used it for several years, I wanted to try it out.
Gotta go, dear.
I couldn't believe after all that time the Rayovac batteries were still good. I went about shining every shoe in sight, working my way through the entire house. Those are some batteries. Sincerely, Betsy Schaefer, Camp Douglas, Wisconsin.
Rayovac, batteries that turn people on.
Recently, Four Wheel and Off-Road magazine tested the latest imports and domestics to determine this year's 4x4 of the year. The winner was then tested against past 4x4 of the year winners to determine the best of the best. They compared power, performance, and handling. And when it was over, Jeep Cherokee stood on familiar ground.
Now get 0% financing or $1,000 cash back on new Jeep Cherokees.
Good times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never lets you down.
I like your shoes, Mr. Madden.
Yeah, I knew you'd like them. Florsheim Comfortech. They're guaranteed comfortable.
Guaranteed?
Yeah.
Oh, could you just sit there?
Sit, stand, walk, dance in them for 30 days. If you don't love them, you get your money back. You're really walking on air. Because in Comfortech, there's air bubbles right in the soles. And they're made to follow the shape of your foot, even in big sizes like mine. Hey, that looks great. Thanks, Charlie. Florsheim Comfortech. Total comfort or a total refund?
When the party of the first part achieves control of 51.
Nation caused productivity to rise an estimated 50.
The manufacturing division is currently operating at full.
A successful reallocation of resources is headed aside.
Occasionally, mergers produce results that individuals would find impossible to produce on their own. State-of-the-art software and service worthy of it.
Ready to start the fourth quarter in Atlanta with Georgia Tech leading South Carolina 24-6. Mike Patrick and Mike Gottfried with you. Glad you could join us on a Saturday afternoon. It's been a tremendous defensive performance by Georgia Tech. Fuller throws short and incomplete, dropped by Ken Watson, the H-back. The second drop pass that Fuller has had today. The Georgia Tech defense came in ranked number 8 in the country, giving up 232 yards a game. So far in this one, they've only given up 165.
Young defense also. Most of these players are young and will be back next year.
Fuller on a little half roll to get away from some of the pressure. Throwing on the run, Swilling with his second interception. The 5th turnover, the second interception for the All-American safety. Boy, if he gets near it, he's got it. Our draft expert, Mel Kiper, says he is as good a safety that has ever played in the ACC, period.
One thing you see, when you start to roll out, you reduce the field. The field is reduced right here to a hash mark game. So all your players are in that hash mark, and that made the interception by Swilling.
Boy, and if that pass had been on target, you saw how well he broke on the ball. Brooks would have paid the price for it. Georgia Tech's job now, work on the clock a little bit. Scotton down to the 46-yard line. Corey Miller, who has not had all that big a game for the South Carolina defense, made the tackle.
George O'Leary is the defensive coordinator on Georgia Tech's side, has to feel very good about this game. Ken Swilling with an outstanding defensive afternoon, interception-wise, tackles, playing fantastic game.
Kind of game you would expect from an All-American, a man that is a freshman or as a sophomore, was 6th in the voting for the Jim Thorpe Award. Let's go to the studio. Tim Brando for an update on Colorado-Washington.
Thank you, Mike. The situation in this ball game, Eric Bieniemy had fumbled. Washington's driving. Under 2 minutes to play. They get 3 cracks at passes by quarterback Mark Brunell. This is the 4th down try inside the 10, and it's intercepted by Deion Figures. The Buffaloes hold on to win by a score of 20-14. One sad note for Colorado, though. Darian Hagan injured the AC joint in his left shoulder. We'll give you the extent on that as soon as we get word as our afternoon continues.
Well, it's been a struggle for Colorado. They've had some injuries coming off that great year of a year ago. 3rd and 5. Jones under pressure. Got rid of it, but threw behind Jeff Wright coming out of the backfield. This is not the Sean Jones that Bobby Ross talked about during the week. He has not had that good a game. Some of that credit must go to the South Carolina defense.
South Carolina's got a good defensive football team. Sean Jones just didn't have his feet up under him on that last throw. Tried to do it all with his arm.
And Bobby Ross knows quarterbacks. Had Boomer Esiason, Frank Reich, Stan Gelbaugh at Maryland. He's very high on this kid. Aldridge to punt to Platt, and once again South Carolina with a 10-man front. And if you've ever blocked a punt, this is the time to do it.
Movement in the offense. Back them up 5 more yards.
Is there any secret to, we'll get the referee's call here in a second.
Dead ball, illegal procedure, offense, 4th down.
See, some teams that have a history of being good kick blocking teams. Do they just work on it more than others?
I think there are teams that give special teams lip service, and then there's teams that work on it. Bobby Ross has a special teams background in the pros with the Chiefs, and I think South Carolina under Sparky Woods, same type of coaches, very good coaches, and they work at the special teams game.
10-man front. Aldridge has done a nice job getting the ball away quickly all day. The snaps have all been good. They are again, and he gets out a beautiful sailing spiral. Hits inside the 5. Takes a big bounce and goes out near the 15. Beautiful punt by Scott Aldridge. We've got a timeout with 13-12 to go in the game. Georgia Tech starting to dominate. They lead 24-6.
A Jaguar is beautiful. It loves the sun and the wind. It knows the luxury and comfort of a snug environment. And its potent V12 power dominated the 24 hours of Daytona this year, finishing 1st and 2nd. Jaguar, a blending of art and machine. For the name of your nearest Jaguar dealer, call toll-free.
Like a lot of business people, I thought all insurance companies were the same. Believe me, there's a world of difference out there. I know, because thanks to the Hartford, we survived the kind of fire that would have wiped out most companies. But with the Hartford's people behind my business, we met payroll. We got back on our feet. So please, don't tell me all insurance companies are the same. They're not.
ITT Hartford. When you need us most, we're at our best. On a night like this, you'll be grateful for a safety feature found in almost every Chrysler car you rent from Thrifty. A safety feature Thrifty hopes you'll never see. It's an airbag. That's right, an airbag. In about half the time it takes to blink your eye, this airbag can inflate and save your life. At Thrifty, we take safety as seriously as savings. Thrifty, because it's your money.
ESPN's coverage of college football, South Carolina at Georgia Tech, is brought to you by Jaguar, a blending of art and machine, and by High Performance Compact Personal Computers. Compact, it simply works better. South Carolina will take over at its own 14-yard line. There's one thing the Gamecocks fans have been celebrating all week is the announcement that they have entered the Southeastern Conference, and a big move for their program, Mike. And we'll talk about that more in just a second. Tough place for Fuller to start, down by 18 points with 13:12 to go. And they'll give it to Dingle on the run. He gets a couple across the 15 to the 16. Jeremiah McClary makes the tackle. Of course, everybody's shifting, trying to get the best deal for themselves, but they're very excited about going to the SEC.
Well, I think it's a good move for them. They're in a conference that's financially is making a lot of money, but it really hurts the Metro Conference. For years, Florida State was probably the biggest detractor of having football in the Metro Conference, and you can see with South Carolina and Florida State leaving, it leaves a bulk of teams there with no place to go.
And even though Louisville is on the upswing, you can't hang a conference around the Cardinal right now. Fuller in trouble, hit from behind again by Coleman. Marco Coleman, they say he was throwing the ball and it's incomplete, nearly had his third sack.
Again, you don't want to get in this situation where they're working pass situations, pass rushes. They're just collapsing the offensive line of South Carolina now because they're putting their ears back and just rushing.
And that's Jeremiah McClary who's down.
Watch the push right here. They're just working up the football field. They're pushing. But again, Bobby Fuller has no place to go, steps up inside, and McClary comes off the block. So we were talking about the Metro Conference, Mike. I really believe the NCAA has to step in here pretty soon on all these realignments and try to make a rule that there has to be 8 leagues so that we don't drive some teams out of the football business, because if everybody goes for one pot of gold, then that's going to leave a lot of teams out of the football business. I don't think that anybody wants to see that. We have a great game. We have college football all over the country, and it's enjoyed. We don't want to get down to just 30, 40 teams.
And I think it has to be done very quickly, too, because of the movement of different teams. I think that's what you're looking at right now. If it goes on another 3 or 4 months at this rate, it's going to be over before they can do anything about it.
The NCAA, Dick Schultz, has to step in. I don't know how he does it, but he has to set up a rule that there has to be so many leagues. So there's a place for Cincinnati, there's a place for Louisville. You know, I used to learn my geography from the leagues when I was a kid. And now if you're a 4th grader in the state of Florida and somebody says, well, Miami's in the Big East up by Boston.
Maybe.
And all of a sudden you got Florida State up in the Atlantic Coast Conference somewhere, and you got Florida in the Southeast. How are they going to learn geography down there?
Yeah, I never thought Tallahassee was on the Atlantic coast. Game day tomorrow, noon Eastern. Remember, it is a new time from a year ago, attracting a lot of attention. And we hope you'll tune into NFL Game Day. Chris Berman, Pete Axthelm, Tom Jackson, Joe Theismann, Fred Edelstein will also be there. They'll update you on everything you can expect to see this Sunday afternoon, and then back at 7 o'clock for NFL primetime. And then we'll be going to baseball at 1 o'clock Eastern, the Blue Jays and the Red Sox in that big 3-game series from Fenway. If you don't see that one at 1:30, you will see Philadelphia against Montreal. McClary, by the way, coming off under his own power. That's good to see. And then on tape delay at 8 o'clock, the Tyson Holly Farms 400 NASCAR Winston Cup Series continues. That is at 8 o'clock Eastern. 3rd and 8 for South Carolina. Tough place to be a quarterback right now. Flag is down. That's going to be a holding call as the pass is complete to Pitchko. He's driven out of bounds. And I think Coleman was just mugged back there by the jersey, or he would have had another sack.
I think the holding's on Ike Harris. Ike hasn't been playing much. He was injured early in the year, and he's coming back now. You'll see him over here on the side where he gets called. He's got his hand up on the face mask.
Nice takedown, too.
It's big-time wrestling.
WWF, but gets you 10 yards here.
Hold it. Offensive team. Half the distance to the goal. Repeat, 3rd down.
One thing about South Carolina, as they're both teams, South Carolina's schedule favors them this month, next month. They've got a chance to keep building. And both these teams, if they get to 6 or 7 wins because the Bulls in the South and the tremendous following they have, they're going to be both teams, both these teams.
Well, South Carolina brought 12,000 fans today to this one. They always have tremendous support. Listen to the hand for this defense on 3rd and 23. And look out for Swilling. He'll be ball hawking. They throw it in the middle of the field. Look out for number 1. They go sideline instead and short, and it's dropped. Right in the hands of Dingle, who really does have an excellent pair of hands. But he dropped that one wide open.
Well, you just have those kind of days. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but you watch Mike Dingle come out of the backfield. Nobody's more frustrated than him. He's an outstanding back. He's going to have better days. This ball is thrown very well by Bobby Fuller. It's got to be caught. Good coverage by Calvin Teagle, but the ball should have been caught for a first down.
Boy, Fuller really upset. He's missed his last 7, but a couple certainly haven't been his fault. Parker punting out of the end zone, and McGill waits at his own 46-yard line. Parker gets it out of there. Returnable kick. McGill at the South Carolina 49. Has a seam, couldn't get to it, dropped at the 41. Let's go back to the studio and check in with Tim Brandt for more football scores. Tim.
All right, Mike, from the must-win coaching category, Alabama's Gene Stalling gets a victory 59-28. 31 points for Alabama came as a result of Vandy turnovers. And Tim Stowers at Georgia Southern, the reason why he had to come up with a victory, because he's replacing Irk Russell, a legend at Eagle Creek, gets a victory over Northeast Louisiana today, 33-14. Georgia Southern got a victory in that game. Let's get back to Mike.
Well, I bet they're breathing a sigh of relief at Alabama after that one, right?
Well, we'll come back to that in a second.
The sigh of relief has already gone out at Georgia Tech. This is Wright, and we have Jones giving him the ball. Ricky Ferguson makes the tackle. 11:54 to go in this game.
Gene Stallings is an outstanding coach. I've said often the transition year is very difficult when you come from outside the program into the program. The thing about Alabama, they were 0-3. You have to remember Lou Holtz, whose Notre Dame program right now is doing well, and they're competing for the national championship, was 1-4 in his first year in his first 5 ball games. So it takes a while. Bobby Ross has taken a while to get this program going.
Yeah, but Holtz has won the rest since then. 2nd and 8. Wright swiped at his head, knocked him down finally as he got inside the 35-yard line. And Georgia Tech just trying to work some time off the clock and hold on to the football. They already have the lead, 24-6.
With the new rule of 25 scholarships, where you can only give 25 scholarships a year, it's a little tougher to improve the program quickly. But I think you can win anywhere in the country because of that rule right now.
3rd and 2 for Georgia Tech. Comes the blitz. Jones sprints outside of it, throws complete. Merchant has the first down at the 29-yard line. Very nice anticipation by Sean Jones. Saw it coming, said, I'm getting out of here, and completed it.
You know, that's why the mobile quarterbacks right now are so effective. There's a blitz coming up inside. Both inside linebackers are coming. I believe watching Sean Jones right here, he moved up the temperature a little quicker, got out of there, threw the ball. A lot of quarterbacks would have been sacked.
That's a play Fuller can't make for South Carolina. Does not have that mobility.
Outstanding play by Sean Jones.
Back to the ground game. They give it to the fullback up the middle. There's a flag down on the play as Lawson gets the carry. Patrick Hinton makes the tackle. Now, I talked to Bobby Ross earlier this week, and I said, I know what kind of academic restrictions you have here, but what are your hopes for this program year in and year out? He said, we can be in the top 20. It's just the way we were at Maryland. We can get enough good players. And the thing about Georgia Tech, you get good students, and you can keep them here.
Well, you see the resurgence of programs like Georgia Tech.
Offense, first down.
Louisville. And the reason is because if you're good evaluators, your coaching staff can evaluate and you can recruit, and you bring those 25 players onto campus, you can get any kind of program turned around. I don't care where the program is or what the history is, you can win because of that rule. Then you must keep your attrition rate real low.
Ball spotted outside the 35-yard line. It's 1st and 17. The holding was marked off from the spot of the call. Lawson. Georgia Tech not trying to do anything fancy here. Kurt Wilson makes the tackle again.
They just want to see that clock tick down and get ready for the dance. That's the only thing now on their minds.
9:43 and counting. Georgia Tech up 24-6. And boy, I've been impressed by their defense. I mean, statistically, they look great on paper coming in here. They had played North Carolina State and Tennessee Chattanooga, so you wonder how good the defense really was. I think we found out today. 2nd and 13. Jones, quarterback draw. Nifty run inside the 25 to the 24-yard line. Let's go to the studio. Tim Brandt has another score update. Tim.
All right, Michael, an interesting close to the USC-Ohio State game. After USC had received an onside kick by Ohio State with over 2 minutes left, there was severe lightning in Columbus, Ohio. Both coaches, Larry Smith and John Cooper, elected to get their teams back in the locker rooms. The final 35-26, the Trojans get the victory. The running of Ricky Irvin's the key in the ball game, not the passing of Todd Marinovich. Let's get back to you guys.
Now, wait a minute. I never saw that. I've seen it in high school football. I never saw a college game called for that. Jones throws low. What a catch. Covington, the tight end, low and behind him, and like he had a first baseman's mitt. Reached out and grabbed it.
Great catch.
And Jones slow getting up. Watch the belt he gets on this.
Good play action fake by Sean. And he has to be ready. Watch him get his head around right away. He sees the pressure. He's able to get the ball away. And he took a shot to the head from Corey Miller. We talk about games canceled because of lightning. There was a few when I was playing against Oklahoma and Nebraska, but it was lightning at running backs.
You were praying for lightning, right?
I saw lightning, but I didn't, and it was going down the field again.
Had numbers on it. Sean Jones already number 6 in all-time passing yards and completions. He's a sophomore. He'll come out of the ball game, and let's see if it's Howard who comes in to replace him. It is. Howard, a sophomore, 6'2", 180.
They're going for the 4th and 1 here, Mike.
Movement on the line, Scotton. He won't get it.
Now they'll kick the field goal.
Play will not count. They blew it dead.
Dead ball. Illegal procedure, interior lineman moving on the offense. 4th down.
C.C. Daly, the referee, making the call, and they do send out the field goal unit. Sisson, who has converted 1 today and is 4 out of 6 on the season, will try a 32-yarder. Excuse me, 42. Ball spotted at the 32. He's got it. So Georgia Tech adds to its total. And with 7:52 in the game, it's the Yellow Jackets 27, South Carolina 6. Been held to 167 total yards in this game. Edwards with a big game as one of the 3 tailbacks for Georgia Tech, and Bell out, of course, with the leg injury early in the game, but they have depth at that position. And it's been Georgia Tech's defense now going through 3 games without giving up a touchdown. They've just done a sensational job. Eddie Miller. Well, you can just see how well Georgia Tech is coached. People stay where they are supposed to be and make the stops. Let's go back to the studio. Tim Brando.
Mike and Mike, Dennis Green's got to be the hard luck coach in America. Remember what Tommy Maddox and UCLA did late in the game? Remember the Colorado game? We had it here on ESPN. He loses today 29-23 to San Jose State. The Cardinals are 1-3, arguably one of the better 1-3 teams you could find at this time of the year in college football.
Well, Tim, you're right. They played their hearts out against Colorado in that ball game and lost. Fuller to Dingle, and Dingle once again has his feet come out from under him. and goes down at the 30. It has not been an easy transition for Sparky Woods coming from Appalachian State as South Carolina goes to its hurry-up offense. We'll touch on that again in a moment. Four-man rush. Again underneath to Dingle. Across the 40 to the 43-yard line. Stop the clock to move the sticks. Tom Johnson makes the tackle. Woods has had to go through a lot of adversity, hasn't he, Mike?
He's had 4 different athletic directors, 2 different presidents. He's had a lot of problems on the campus. He's overcome them. He's a good, solid football coach. He coached with Bud Moore, the former Alabama assistant out of Kansas, was very well liked wherever he's coached. He did a great job in 1AA at Appalachian State.
Of course, he came in following the tragic death of Joe Morrison. Here's another sack as they meet at the quarterback. Marlon Williams, number 56, and Marco Coleman again pressuring Fuller. And he was very sensitive to that situation with the players. They were Joe Morrison's kids. He came in, he didn't try to change a lot the first year, tried to go with their system and not be critical of anything that had done before. But eventually you have to install your own system, be your own man, and he's done that.
I think that's happening right now. Joe Morrison was an outstanding football coach.
2nd and 17 for Fuller. Near side and through the hands of Eddie Miller. That is the 4th drop today by South Carolina's normally sure-handed receiver.
Chuck Prefer, who's been at several different programs and been very successful as a secondary coach, has had this secondary breaking on the ball in outstanding fashion. George O'Leary, of course, who was at Syracuse with Dick McPherson and came here and installed the Syracuse defensive package right here, has had a lot of success today, and I know he has to have a good feeling about the way his defense is played.
3rd and 17. Fuller under pressure again, short to Dingle. Dingle lost the ball as he hit the ground. They'll call it a complete pass, but well shy of the first down. And Fuller paid the price for hanging in there as Coleman was all over him again. Tiggle and Day made the stop. And it will be 4th and about 9.
Watch the twist right here, Mike. Anytime you consume the block, when the defensive man went the outside, he took 2 offensive linemen, came free, and made the hit on Bobby Fuller.
And Coleman was a good guy. He could have unloaded. He just gave him a shove. 4th and 9, they'll go for it. Fuller steps up, trying to run, and appears to have the first down depending on the mark at the Georgia Tech 48-yard line. Tiggle made the tackle.
It's an early season game still. Bobby Fuller, what Sparky Woods is looking for right now is to see Bobby Fuller improve and get better and get a little more confidence. He's a transfer from Appalachian State, so it takes him a little while. He's a new leader. He's taken over for a very good quarterback.
Fuller got out of trouble that time. There's the flag down. Pass complete to Carl Platt, but this one will come back for holding.
They caught old Calvin Stevens there. Calvin's complained to the official that he didn't hold him, but I believe Calvin's going to lose the argument.
Did you ever win one?
No, I can't remember ever winning one with those guys.
Holding, offense. 10-yard penalty, first down.
You see Calvin Stevens on the right side get pass protection. He pops pretty good shape, but now he's losing him, so he's going to reach back and hold on. Marco Coleman beat him.
Of course, it's been a tough day for Fuller. It seems every time they do something right, it comes back.
Marcus Coleman was the player that made that tackle on receiver. I recruited his brother at Pittsburgh, David Coleman, out of Youngstown, Ohio, Cardinal Mooney High School.
Fuller under pressure again, wants the screen. Brooks has it, and look at that defense. That's the strong safety, Thomas Balcom. These guys can really play, and now we've got to fight.
Yeah, you just got to hope it stops right now. It doesn't go any further. It's been a well-played football game. You'd hate to see anything happen now. Frustration. Thomas Balcom, the strong safety, he just threw him to the ground, and then all of a sudden you see Battle. He gets pushed into somebody. He didn't cause the problem. Then he gets smacked, so he swings back. There should be a penalty here.
He went after Jay Killen and threw a punch. Let's see if they caught that one.
Dead ball, personal foul. This way. Dead ball, personal foul this way. We'll offset it.
I don't like that. I've never liked it. Somebody starts it, and they ought to be able to find out who did it.
Well, you would think so. There's enough guys with those striped shirts out there. They should have seen it, but they didn't. But all that happens there when that happens is you don't deter any type of action like that. They feel like they get away with it.
Well, they'll run the play again. It will be 2nd and 20.
I would have thought the play should have went back, though, because the problem didn't come till after the play.
Bobby Ross says it should be 3rd down, but
he wants it back, too.
Yeah.
He's right. Blew this one.
Fuller over the middle, and it hit Watson right in the face mask.
I'm telling you, they're having a meet at the quarterback picnic right now, Georgia Tech.
And Bobby Fuller is the ant. And we have an injury for Georgia Tech. Boy, Watson went down, turned, looked like he ran a hook. And when a ball hits you in the face mask, your hands are supposed to be up there too.
You know, the worst thing that's going to happen out of this is all of a sudden South Carolina is going to say, let's don't ever go back on turf.
Yeah.
Hope Georgia Tech digs it up by the next time we got to go play there. But
well, they've lost every game since they played in a decade on artificial surface.
They're slipping. They're not making catches. Mike Dingle had a problem early in the game. They just don't seem to have recovered.
And really, you would think, you had mentioned earlier that it may be a psychological thing. I would have to think it is, because they've got some good speed. You would think turf would be to their advantage.
Well, I would think so, but I tell you, once you get those statistics going against you, you have to eventually change it. It's like Clemson beating Virginia 29 straight times. Eventually it's going to happen, but probably after the 10th time, they said it'll happen next year, but it was 19 more times.
That's Kevin Battle, the nose man, who weighs in at 295. He lost 30 pounds from a year ago. I mean, when a guy who's 325 loses 30, how do you tell? Ball spotted at the South Carolina 39, 3rd and 24. And keep an eye on Marco Coleman. He's ready to saddle up and rip again. And they sack him back at the 25. That's the corner, Marcus Coleman. Not Marco, Marcus, the corner, as Marco was chasing him from behind.
You know what happens now? A lot of people might wonder why Georgia Tech's first-team defense is in. All of a sudden, when you haven't got a touchdown scored against you, it's something now you have to try to protect. But I'm sure Bobby Ross on the next series would like to get some younger guys in this game.
Well, it becomes a matter of pride, too. You don't want to give up the yards either.
I like Lawrence Taylor's answer the other day when they said, what were you in the game in the last play for? He says, hey, I'm supposed to be in it. It's a football game.
I'm part of the defense. Parker with a low line drive kick. McGill does the smart thing, gets out of the way and takes it on the bounce. Excuse me, that's Willie Clay. He's back there as the single safety. 5-yard return. Good job to pick it up on the bounce. We have a timeout. We'll be back in a moment.
Tired.
I'm sick.
We need furniture, but they want $400 down.
There's got to be an answer.
I'm on the way to Crown.
There's furniture for every room of the home at your neighborhood Crown Home Center. All available to you without credit. There's no long-term obligation. Deliveries included.
I'm on the way to Crown.
Call or come by the Crown Home Center nearest you.
I live alone, and I've come to appreciate having things my own way. One thing I've recently done is complete a pre-arranged funeral plan. Sure, I've got life insurance and a will, but pre-arrangement assures me the protection of my personal beliefs. It's not fair to leave difficult decisions to the family. And besides, it's my right to choose exactly what I want. It's your right, too.
For more information on pre-planning or our free family guidebook, call Wapner Funeral Directors, the wiser choice.
Live, top-ranked boxing on ESPN. The place where fighters have stepped into the ring as unknowns, made the right connections, and emerged as champions.
You gotta knock them out to win this, all right?
Thursday night, Kevin Pompey and Darrell Lattimore slug it out in a battle for a World Welterweight Championship. Budweiser presents Top Rank Boxing, live Thursday night at 9 Eastern, only on ESPN.
That's the story from Atlanta. 3:51 left in the game. Georgia Tech with a 21-point lead, and now the football as they have it at their own 37. Hope you'll stay tuned. This has been a great ball game, and the one coming up should be a dandy. Auburn against Tennessee. I tell you what, if either one of them has a better defense, I'd like to watch it, because Georgia Tech has done a marvelous job with their defensive units today, giving up 2 field goals. That's it. And less than 200 yards in total offense. Jeff Howard, the new quarterback, getting his second series of action. The toss to Wright. He's trying to stay in bounds and work the clock. He gets it up to the 37. Patrick Blackwell again in on the tackle, number 93. Blackwell, as a young man, nearly lost his leg to bone cancer, but they were able to save it, and he's been able to come on, 270-pound senior, and have a nice athletic career. The Jackets have been everywhere, swarming. Lawson, the fullback, across the 40 to the 41. Howard got some action last week against Tennessee Chattanooga. Played pretty well in that one.
This is a time of the game where you like to play a lot of your younger guys. It's good for morale of your football team. They practice all week, and they practice 2 days, and now this is a chance they can go in and show what they can do. So it's nice, and for the families that visit, come to see them play. If you're on that side, you're happy. You're on the other side, you're not very happy right now.
3rd and 6. Wright again. Cuts it back, trying for the first down marker. Got very close. Put the ball out in front of him. Trying to get there as Ernest Dixon made the tackle. And it's close enough to measure with 2:22 left. And now they'll say it is a first down. South Carolina, look at that. 210 yards after they'd given up less than 100 coming in. And the first quarter, it looked like they really had it figured out, but Georgia Tech opened it up after that.
It's kind of a deceiving statistic, though, because of how long they've been on the football field.
Exactly. New series of downs for the Yellow Jackets. Wright again, horse-collared by Ernest Dixon. Young man who they feel is going to be a tremendous player before he's done. Only a freshman, loves to play, wants to be in on every play. It will be 2nd and 12. There's South Carolina's remaining schedule. Not bad in October. They hope to have 6 or 7 wins through that, but it gets a little tougher in November. We'll show you the Georgia Tech schedule in a moment, because that's getting very interesting with their upcoming meeting with Virginia. Loose football, and it looks like South Carolina has recovered. Reese fumbled, and Patrick Blackwell made the recovery.
Georgia Tech's remaining schedule also, they've got some tough ball games. Go to Maryland next week. Clemson's a good football team. They play some. Atlantic Coast Conference is getting better, but of course, November 3rd may be a very important game.
Could very well be for the conference championship, and then of course they finish up as always against Georgia in that death match. 1:16 to go in the game. And we've got a new quarterback, Wright Mitchell, for South Carolina, and he throws his first completion. Gets it out there to Albert Haynes. Curly Day drove him out of bounds. So the Georgia Tech defense back on the field, still trying to hold that record of not giving up a touchdown. Mitchell, a sophomore, 6 feet, 200 pounds. Only thrown 4 passes this year until that one. Four-man rush. Dumps it, tried to hit Haynes coming out of the backfield. Good coverage by Eric Fry, the linebacker, right on top of him. In fact, he may have gotten here a little early.
May have got away with something there.
Yeah. Well, at this point, with 1:02 left, they don't want to take that yellow hanky out of their pocket.
I don't think Georgia Tech wants to concede any type touchdown here. They got a lot of substitutes in right now. Ken Swilling's on the sideline, and but they still don't want to concede anything.
Had plenty of time, throws almost intercepted. Curly Day had it at the 25. Mike, we said at the beginning of the telecast that both of the coaches felt they would learn an awful lot about where their programs are through this game. What have each of them learned?
I think Georgia Tech, first of all, now has to learn how to the prosperity of coming in probably into the top 20, and that you get better and you've got to play hard all the time. They played hard here today. They've learned that they have a very solid defensive football team. Their offensive team has some weapons. South Carolina on the other side, it's a long season. They have to handle adversity, but their offense has to be a little bit more productive than it was today, especially on first down. Mike Dingle has to be more of the offense than he was today.
Wright Mitchell, the backup quarterback, facing a 3rd and 10. And the play clock ran out. I think they'll be penalized 5 yards for a delay.
If you're coaching, you have to feel pretty good about the way their defense played most of the day.
Sure.
South Carolina.
Well, they did a good job containing Sean Jones, and it's the one thing they really wanted to do. He only really hurt them on that one option play at the goal line. It was the only time he was loose all day. Did have a couple of decent quarterback draws, but he really didn't ring up killer plays against them. 3rd and 15 now. And he wants it all down the sideline. Incomplete, and a beautiful athletic play by Keith Holmes coming across number 30. Got a hand on it at the end. And good coverage in the first place by Curly Day, who was right with David Pitchko.
And those deep safeties are 20 yards deep, and they're protecting the goal line right now. Quarterback right now, Wright Mitchell, might as well just set it up and send it to the end zone and hope for a deflection. Tough to get in that end zone today for South Carolina.
And this will be 12 quarters Georgia Tech would have gone without giving up a touchdown. Tim Brando will have all the scores and highlights for you. Here's Mitchell on the run, trying to get to 15 yards, keep the drive alive, and just tripped up by Marcus Coleman, who got a piece of him and brought him down after a gain of 10, but he needed 15. So South Carolina turns the ball over on downs. The hand is for the Georgia Tech defense. They did a whale of a job today.
They'll take that scoreless streak in the Maryland game next week. Talking about Tim Brando and Lee Corso, is there any better than those two?
No, sir. I love them.
They do a great job.
I love them. Well, tell me, isn't this easier in coaching? I mean, if people boo here, at least we can't hear them.
They don't throw anything after I leave either, you know, so it's been fun.
Georgia Tech just trying to run out the clock with 39 seconds to go. And Howard will kneel down.
You know, Lee Corso was a very good football coach.
Yes, he was.
Did a great job at Louisville, and then went on to Indiana and really did a nice job with that particular program. And then, of course, into the USFL. And he's got a nice background in coaching.
And if Lee had an NFL job tomorrow, he would install the wishbone. He'd just have to sign 30, 40 quarterbacks to run it. He loves the idea. Run the option. Clock ticking down, and Georgia Tech has gone to 3-0. South Carolina falls to 3-1. And Bobby Ross, always the gentleman, will go to midfield to meet Sparky Woods of South Carolina. And as we said before, there was no doubt that Bobby Ross would succeed here. It was a question of when. And it looks like if you just go by the defensive unit, he has succeeded.
Well, he's built this program on defense, and that's the way you build. You build defensively first, and then you win when you have good defense. And both these coaches are good coaches, they're gentlemen, and they've got their programs on the rise.
Georgia Tech a winner at home, 27-6. We'll be back to wrap it up from Atlanta, Georgia in just a moment.
V12-powered Jaguar XJS. Jaguar, a blending of art and machine. For the name of your nearest Jaguar dealer, call toll-free.
Wild thing. It is a wild thing. Oh, come shout and sing, join in the ring. It could be queen or it could be king. You go your way and I'll go mine. As long as you just make it fine.
The good times roll with the clean, fresh taste of Bud Light. It won't fill you up, never let you down.
These people never thought of themselves as high-pressure salespeople. They've always been committed to service. That's why they've become successful Better Homes and Gardens real estate agents, and why they use our proven real estate marketing systems to serve their customers better than anybody. After all, we've found that once you place service above everything, everything else falls into place. For information about a career in real estate, call 1-800-ADVANCE or your local Better Homes and Gardens real estate firm.
Once again, our final score from Atlanta. Georgia Tech 27, South Carolina 6. Our Ream players of the game from South Carolina, linebacker Patrick Hinton. And from Georgia Tech with 2 interceptions, All-American safety, the junior Ken Swilling. A defensive performance by Georgia Tech, the kind of thing we expected coming in. Swilling the All-American, 6 interceptions a year ago, 3 so far this year. Georgia Tech gave up less than 200 yards in total offense. They did not allow a touchdown, and they have not allowed a touchdown in 3 games. Thanks for watching, everybody. For Mike Gottfried and our entire ESPN crew, this is Mike Patrick. Thanks for watching. Let's go back to the studio. Tim Brando on board.
You again on